I know who you came here to see. If you a freak, then you come on with me. And I know what you came here to do. Now bust it open, let me see you get loose. It's going down for real. It's going down for real. It's going down for real.
Yo, girl, just kiss the girl. I do die. Shake for a shake. I'm throwing these Emirates in the sky. Spinning this Assalamu alaikum. Peace to Money. I love my beaches. South beaches. Surfboard and high tide. I can just roll up, cause I'm swole up. So that birthday cake get the Cobra. Bugatti for real, I'm Cobra. The autobiography rover. Got the key to my city, it's over. No thoughts, only in the color covers. I said rackets, ratchets, hold up.
I said rackets, ratchets, hold up. I know who you came here to see. If you a freak, then you come on with me. And I know what you came here to do. Now bust it open, let me see you get loose. It's going down for real. Down further than famous, girls get wetter than Katrina. You're my girl, you never seen it, cause my tins by limousines. My touch say it's the Midas. We the plus, your man the minus. My team blowing on that slam. Make you cough, that's bronchitis. Put your hands up. It's a stick up, no more makeup. Get that ass on the floor, ladies, put your lipstick up. Double entendre, double entendre. While you hating, I get money, then I double up tendres. I know who you came here to see. If you a freak, then you come on with me. And I know what you came here to do. Now bust it open, let me see you get loose. It's going down for real. Going down for real. It's going down for real. It's going down for real.
Hello, people. What up? Ricky, are you there? Did I lose you?
Hey. Nope. We're good.
Oh, how goes it, my friend?
No, not too bad. Just, I'm psyched. This is going to be a good one.
I hope so. Lots of interesting things been going on the last few days. Lots of interesting topics coming up.
Yeah.
So, what have you been up to the past few days? Non-social media-wise, like... Nothing. School?
Yeah, doing some work for that. Doing some epistemology. Theory of knowledge.
That sounds interesting. What do you, like, where does that go? The theory of knowledge? Like how you obtain knowledge, or?
Yeah, exactly. That's a big part of it.
Okay.
What it is, how you obtain it, that kind of thing. You pretty much nailed it.
Very cool. So is it just like course study, or how does that usually?
This is an independent study. So I work with a professor for this.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's for, it's part of the philosophy course normally. It's just a slightly different setup. Basically, I will be analyzing contemporary articles from academic journals and responding with the professor.
That sounds interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny because like when I was younger, like way younger, when I was in high school, I hated writing, hated it with a passion. I could not stand it, and now that's all I do. I love it. I
That's
think philosophy is responsible for my love of writing. So like I took a break from like since I graduated high school,
mhm.
I took a break probably like almost 10 years of not really writing at all. I mean outside, normal stuff. Because I hated it so much. To the point where I pretty much lost it. And then when I got more like into the academic stuff, I basically relearned to write from the ground up from philosophy. So the way I write is different than the way most people write.
Yeah, I'm sure.
So I gotta try and curb the Plato when I'm writing other things. I had one time I had somebody talking to me like an interest, and they told me I write my rating is like poetry. I'm just like typing to them. It's like okay, I gotta stop. Need a break.
Well, I've noticed that because you and I we communicate a lot through Skype and through Twitter, and
Yeah.
we obviously have a chat that we discuss things in, and I've noticed the same thing. Like you're writing because I'm used to speaking to people on Twitter in 140 characters or less, so you have to chop that stuff up, and it goes
Yeah.
against everything that I believe in to do that because
Oh yeah.
I want to put in commas.
Yep.
I want to do all of the periods and capital letters, but it's just like, oh, you have to think of a completely new way to speak to people
It's an
that
art form. Yeah.
that in your
It
mind
drives
you're like,
me
that is
nuts.
horrible. How can I put
Yeah.
that out there? But then you're like,
Yeah.
what else can I do? So you kind of
Yeah.
follow
I'm like,
form, then you go into private messages, and it's like, okay, do I still continue to talk in shorthand? But you kind of split it between the two, and
it's hard though.
I
Like
know.
I'm a big lover of grammar. Like I love it. And so when I got to cram things into 140, I'm like, shit. But
Well, it's making
I
you
think
access
people
a
get
different
it.
part of your brain, really.
Yeah. Well, it's like I'll do that, right? I'll get used to like replying in that format, and then I'll switch over to like a DM, and it's hard for me to like mentally
I
break
know.
back. It's like I talk to people, I'm like, do I sound like I'm being curt? Like, I don't know.
Oh, don't even try to. Don't even try to.
Anyway,
Yeah, don't even try to and worry about how a text is going to come off sounding because they're going to interpret it no matter what you do. No,
yeah, that's pretty much how it, like just like when you write. It's like if you write for a journal or you give a talk or whatever, people are going to obviously run with it. However, based on all kinds of things in their
okay.
background.
Okay. Well, look, this is going to take us up into the first video that I wanted to go over tonight.
Perfect.
Interpretations.
Oh
Because
yeah,
I mean that was perfect. We didn't even plan that. How did you do that?
we do that all the time.
I
Make a
know.
good pair.
Where did it go? I put it in the playlist. Now it's not there. This is crap.
You
Just when I
lost.
think it's not lost.
Unacceptable.
Control C, right? Yep. I think I got it.
And then V.
Yep. What would I do without men?
Be a feminist?
Oh no! Oh
Wah,
no!
wah.
No chance of that happening.
It'll get you there.
Because I have a brain.
I don't want to rant on that too much, but it drives me nuts with the damage modern feminists are doing to like legit women's causes in the
Well,
past.
that's gonna come up. That's gonna come up in this video.
Oh right.
Well,
Right.
that not specifically, but it's gonna come up as a symptom of this video, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So, for
Let's roll with it.
sure. And I'm going to let him talk for just a couple minutes, just so we can go ahead and just get the feel for this video and get the message as much as possible before we start commenting, because you're going to want to comment pretty much like about a minute into it.
Okay.
So let's give him about 3 minutes, and then we'll pause it, okay?
Okay, cool. Hit it.
All right, let's see.
This era, we're taught that diversity is a strength. Multiculturalism is a good thing. And that anybody who sets forth within American soil is now an American. See, that's all fun and dandy to think about that. Oh, it's American. But the reality of the matter is, not everybody is American. See, what makes an American is an individual of European descent, such as myself, with blue eyes and blonde hair. See, my family, and I traced my family back all the way to Europe. My family came here before the Mayflower. My family was the pioneers who founded and built this country. They were not immigrants. See, there's a difference between immigrants and pioneers and founders. And on top of that, the founding fathers of this country made this country for white Europeans only. Now see, the other aspect with this is that people will say that the Native Americans are the true Americans of this country. Now hold up a second. See, the thing is, nobody gives a shit about the Native Americans, to be honest. See, the Native American aspect is used to guilt-ridden us whites to feel sorry for the Native Americans that we almost wiped them out. Now see, the reason why nobody gives a shit about the Native Americans is because nobody would want to live in their primalistic and tribalistic societies, period. They're constantly at war at each other. They didn't live very peaceful lives, and they didn't live very healthy lives either. They died young for a reason, because they were primal. They were tribalistic, savages for a reason. And then on top of that, think about this. Us white Europeans that came over to America, there's this whole notion that the Native Americans were peaceful, ones with nature and friendly towards the Europeans and helped the Europeans survive. Us Europeans, wherever we went, we conquered. We built civilizations in places. Do you really think that the first people that they would send over to America would not know how to grow crops or live off the land or be able to defend themselves? Come on, really? And then on top of that, do you really think that, for example, the Europeans came over on ships and were more advanced in technologies? They had horses that they brought over. Do you think that the Native Americans would just come out and be like, hey, how you doing? No, they'd be hiding in the forest, in the woods, being like, what is that? What is that weird white man or, pasty white person doing on our land or in these colonies? No, they were scoping out, they were checking out what was going on. And then there's also accounts too where the Europeans colonized areas, and then in the middle of the night, the savages would come out.
Okay.
Where to begin?
Oh, man.
Other than his horrendous grammar, I think the thing that stood out the most to me was the irony / contradiction of him griping about tribalism when his whole video is me, Europeans. Like, what? No.
It really, really annoys me the way he says European people and my people and the Europeans and stuff like that. It's like,
Yeah,
bro, it's like, dude, just say white people. Just say white people. That's what you want to say.
Yeah, he's probably avoiding that because he knows he's being racist pretty much, and he's going to get called on it. But
well, this guy is an interesting character to say the least. This is not the only content I've watched of his. There's another one that we'll get to a little bit later. It is absolutely horrific. But this man is a self-proclaimed Jew, and he hates them.
Wait, what?
No, he's a raging anti-Semite.
So is he like culturally Jewish and then on?
No,
I don't get it.
He's
because that'd be funny as shit.
I believe, and he's both.
But chooses to be culturally Jewish, and then
it's like the ethnicity, the ethnically Jewish.
Okay.
Now I haven't gone too far into any of his stuff, but from what I could gather so far, is he's anti big government. He's anti mainstream media. He's anti multiculturalistic stuff, and he's definitely pro white. But he's going on the self hating path.
Okay.
I guess you could call it. This is a phenomenon I've never understood.
I get it, but it's weird to me. Like I can pull back and look at it and just observe what's going on, but it's and why. But it's still like, even though I understand what it is and why it's happening, I'm still like, this is bizarre. Just because I don't participate in that behavior, so it's like foreign to me.
So I mean, he just goes on and on, just going on about the Native Americans being savages and tribalistic, and it's like, whoa, do you hear yourself? I mean, we're talking about...
Look at his body language. Notice his body language. It's like the way he like leans forward. He's gesturing with his arms like in an inclusive manner, and he seems like...
Believe what I'm saying. Listen to what I'm saying.
Yeah, he does. So like, hopefully this doesn't start a tangent, but he has similar body language to Trump.
Yeah.
He leans into you.
Yeah, it's totally sleazy.
Yeah.
It's like, do not convince me with your body language, convince me with your words.
Yeah, that's exactly it. He's very clearly trying to influence you. He's not confident enough to just put it out there and be like, this should be acceptable on its own. It's like, no, I really got to like pull you in. So he kind of gives himself away. Well, there's also like, if you watch his eyes, so like there's certain muscles in your face that you can't control.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's how you can like tell when people are lying or, what their mood is.
Yeah.
So like if you watch, for example, the outside corners of his eyes, like you can't control those. You can't like fake it.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times when he's saying something, like his mouth will be in sort of like a quasi smile type of thing.
Oh
like
yeah, it's very chilling. Here, I'll play the video a little bit just to watch his eyes.
Try and pause it, because the thing, it doesn't match up with his eyes. So he knows that he's saying something.
There he goes, right there.
Okay, see how his mouth is straight and his lips aren't pursed. He's kind of like... That's not a
concentrating face. That's a determined face. Let's see what he's saying.
His eyes. Mm-hmm. So like he's looking directly at you. He's his mouth is in a position, like the corners of his mouth are being held in a way that he's trying to be persuasive. Like he's
trying to keep his facial features calm.
Yeah, he's restraining his muscles on his jaw.
All right.
But see under his eyes how there's that kind of
they're tense, tight.
The line. Yeah, he's holding his muscles back, like he's tensing his face. Like
that the Native Americans would just come out and be like,
relaxing.
"Hey, how you doing?"
He looks away.
No, they'd be hiding in the forest, in the woods, being like, "What is that?"
So now his eyes just change shape.
What is that weird white man?
It's like a nervous
pasty white person doing on our land?
See how he looks away when he says some of that stuff?
Yeah.
They're checking out what was
going on. And then like pay attention to so like
all the little Scooty behavior. He's wiggling in that chair a lot. He's agitated.
He's not. Yeah, he's having a hard time keeping still. But like notice all that. Notice all his body language, and then try and pair it up to what he's saying, and that will like give you a clue as to what his goal is and what kind of emotion or thought he's experiencing when he says it.
So
like right now he's like dead glaring at you.
Let's ask the people who are watching this with us, which people will come back to it on video form, I'm sure. But does this mean? Do we think that this person's being rational whenever they're talking to us, or do we think they're just being passionate? Now, from my point of view, I'm going to say that he's not really being rational, and it's all emotion.
Well, I'm not so sure. I mean, emotion would be a part of it, but where it's paused right now, see how the outside corners of his eyes are kind of going down, but his mouth is straight?
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. He knows that he's thinking or saying something that's gonna be like just itching to like be socially rejected, and he's got to persuade you. So he's lying to himself.
Yeah.
They don't match. His eyes and his mouth positions don't match. So that's an indication, because you can't control those outside muscles in your eyes.
Okay, so let's see. What is he talking about right here? So he's talking about the Native Americans.
Right.
And so far he's said that the US was built for white Europeans. The founders did that. Now,
needed.
and that Native Americans were savages with each other before we came over, and we shouldn't feel sorry that we conquered them, or people shouldn't have feelings about all that stuff. Now, I had a conversation yesterday, I think, talking about Native American culture and like their rituals and stuff like that. And there's a few communities of Native Americans that their native language is being lost because the newer generations, they're not interested in it, and they're not using it. And I see that as sad, because I think it's really pretty, and I think it ties in to their culture and stuff. And it's a part of their people. Well,
yeah.
I was told that it was nonsense, because it really is. It's going to be a dead language, and there's thousands of dead languages. So why do I feel so special about that one? And it's like, well, I've experienced it. It really is just ritualistic type things. No harm comes to anyone. It does have like a very hypnotic beat to it, and it can have really haunting music that comes from some of the singers, and I like it, but it just comes back.
I mean, that's part of. I mean, not in the same way, but that's why I love Latin so much.
Well, that whenever I say that to someone, they're like, "Oh, you feel sorry for them." Blah, blah, blah. And it's like, no, I don't feel sorry for them. I mean, we came over, we conquered. If they'd have been stronger than the people who conquered it, then they would have won. But they didn't. There were too many factors against them. So, I mean, it sucks, but I'm glad we won. But it's like, I don't feel sorry for them. But at the same time, it's like, yeah, there's some pretty nice stuff that comes with it. Do I think it'll ever rule the Western countries, like rule the United States? No. It's just not going to happen. But I don't feel sorry for them. I think he's referring to liberals and the left, as people like to say it like a dirty name, like the left.
That's just okay. So I got to say this real quick. It's
okay.
Kind of true. It's like, this is so freaking obnoxious when someone tries to talk about anything that's a political point, and people immediately just like go to other sides of the room and yell at each other.
Mm-hmm.
That is ridiculous. Like, people have got to break themselves of that. Like, sure, I'm a liberal, but like, for example, the stuff that's going on with Trump right now. Let's say this happened with Obama. I voted for Obama. Let's say this is going down with him. Immediately, like, no question, country over party. I don't have any loyalty to this dude. He's not like my dad or something.
No.
You know what I mean? Like, I'd be like, no, this is bullshit. I want nothing to do with this. I regret voting for him. You know what I mean? Like, why just like ritualistically like hold to this dude? You know, like he's a leader of like a cult.
Yeah, I don't understand that either. I mean, I see the same things, and it's like, what? I mean, I think it's just I think it's the whole mentality of, I don't want to be proven wrong.
Maybe. Like, okay, so that's a good point. So like, one thing in philosophy that you really need to get in the habit of if you're like first getting into it, mm-hmm. is being okay with being wrong and changing your mind. There's nothing wrong with that. And I think that's a big thing too, like a big factor in that. This whole thing, it reminds me of like sports teams. It's the same behavior. People that are just like diehard fans of like one team, and it's like, it's this sort of.
Well, that's okay. That's a freaking sport. That's a sports team.
Well,
yeah, no, that's okay.
I don't mean there's harm in it. I
just
you mean
be dedicated and tribalistic as you want when it comes to sports. I don't care. Just don't get in any fights. Freaking the soccer people, the football people, they are insane. Yeah. But they love what they love. I get what you're saying, and I think I've only had one person from the other side concede. And it was like a very, very small subject. I think it was something to do with immigration. And that person did concede, but it was like an anonymous person, and it was a very, very small argument. And I didn't feel like, ha ha, I win. I was like, sweet. I hope I taught this person something.
Yeah, you should pursue truth over everything else and things
You
like
just
this.
don't. You
Like
don't get that opportunity anymore.
well, okay, so like I've recently talked to a few people in our circles
Mm-hmm.
that have responded to what I was saying in a really good way. Like they clearly care about what's true and they're inquisitive. They're not being tribalistic or sort of team oriented. And that's awesome. I wish that was more common. Yeah, I mean, I get that it's hard to break, but I also don't get why people like want to do that. Like this guy, for example, he wants this to be true.
Yeah, he does.
Like
that's just disturbing. It is really disturbing. There's another one of his videos that we're going to get to, and it's the same one that I was referring to a few minutes ago. It makes it chills my blood. It really chills my blood. And it's throughout the whole video. Once it gets to the end, it literally brought me to tears. What happens at the end of this video. And because it made me sick and it broke my heart, and you'll understand once we go over it, but it's just like, how could someone this just morally corrupt exist on the same planet that I do?
Well, here's like
with the same kind of brain that I have, the same kind of knowledge that I have.
Well, not the same kind of knowledge, but yeah. No, I was thinking about this earlier. So like with the whole like race realist thing, like the dead giveaway that they're just racists in disguise is so like it's the same thing with this guy. They want it to be true. If you show them that this whole like white genocide thing is bullshit, like especially in the United States, it's very simple. It takes literally less than a minute to grab U.S. Census data, from the Bureau.
Well, what do you do whenever that person says that the U.S. Census or the facts that you're getting from the UN that they're dirty because they come from Jewish influence? Where do you go from there?
Well, that's just insane. But here's the thing: that's an indicator. So take that, or the fact that if you're showing them, like you're showing them facts, whether or not they accept it, and that's the flag. That's the flag because they want it to be true. Like you would think, like the whole point of it. So like the whole IQ thing, right? They like rant about how like white people are superior IQ to other minorities, which is false, by the way. Asians out to white people, but anyway, if you're gonna buy into that,
well, they're complete. Whenever they say that, they are completely keeping out Asians. It's just like they're the top. Yeah. We know they're the top. We're just gonna ignore that. We don't give a shit about them because they're doing the things that we wish we were doing, being racist, having a freaking shitty government. It's like you want that.
Even if you ignore the fact that there's other factors that have nothing to do with inherent race, even if you ignore that, what's the complaint? The complaint is there are people in the population that I live in, whoever's seen it, that don't have intelligence quotient that I wish were on par with other people of my race. That's what they're saying. So if you show them data that says, hey, wait, they are or they aren't because of these factors, it's not inherent, they reject it, which means they don't want it to be true. I mean, that's a dead giveaway that their goal is just to feel superior and dislike people that aren't like them. It's racism in disguise, just flat out.
I don't disagree. I don't, and
that's the complaint. They would want that to be the case. And when you say,
Ricky,
they're like,
let's just take a moment and absorb this. Brother, it's 2017.
I know, right?
And we're talking about IQ differences between the races. And we're on the cusp of AI technology. Artificial intelligence technology.
Maybe that'll be the end of this stupid shit. Like when you just don't even have a visual appearance.
Your consciousness is now on a microchip. It's on an SD card or whatever it is that they come up with. It'll be like a sheet of acid or something. And they're going to implant it into this gelatinous brain encased in titanium. And that we're all just going to roll around in those things. So
Well,
this
that's
going to be
like a
like
great thing about the
race?
internet.
Race? What?
Well, yeah. So like so like if anyone wants to discriminate against anyone for any reason, any group, they have to know something about their appearance or traits. Like if someone's lactose intolerant,
Hmm.
that's really hard to discriminate against because you can't like
Yeah,
see
you
it.
can't. Yeah, you can't
Someone else.
see that.
It's pattern oriented.
Okay.
People's brains look for patterns, and
Yeah.
that's the problem.
Yeah.
And you
Well,
misinterpret.
what the pattern they're trying to elude to is stupid people or ignorant people or the less intelligent, whatever the percentages may be, no matter how small they may be.
Right.
They're going to come back to, okay, well, look, this population is obviously less intelligent. All right. Okay, thank you for pointing that out. Well, what do we do from here? Well,
Exactly. That's the end goal.
there's a race that's involved with this IQ, so let's look at their community. So it's like, okay, let's look at it. They have violence. They are a tad bit tribal. They're more violent when it comes into criminal statistics and stuff like that. They're less likely to go to college and blah 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 blah. It's like, okay, I get all that. Yes, we're still in agreement. Yeah, okay.
Yep.
And then they go, well, why don't we offer them some sort of incentive to maybe join their own communities? It's like, excuse me? What'd you just say? You want to give somebody of another race incentive to stay amongst their own. Okay. Now that leads me to, all right, well, you say that about another race. What about whenever you're talking about Muslims? Keep them divided, like keep them spread out. Let's keep them spread out because it's obvious. We've seen it. It happens if they get in big groups. They tend to get a little bit jihadi, but it happens. They get a little bit fundamental. They go a little crazy. So we keep them spread out, and it's like, okay, yeah, let's spread them out, and they'll do fine. So why do you want to huddle up the Mexicans and huddle up all the blacks? Doesn't that make statistically doesn't that make them more likely to get even more tribal? If we're going to go by statistics.
Yeah, well, you don't want to. Okay, so like assuming that this is a goal, which
that is
kind of
the
weird
goal.
to me.
That is the goal.
Yeah. Well, I just mean like, let's say your goal is to sort of like look at it. Okay, so if you buy into the whole IQ thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you would think like if you actually were like, I don't know, an empathetic person, I guess, you would think you'd want to do things to help the people that are in that situation.
Yeah.
But that's not the reaction. The reaction is, no, let's separate them and keep them away from us, our kind. You know, it's this ridiculous groupthink that's based on nothing. Like, it's a misinterpretation of data. That's what it is.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's why when you show them, so like that stupid map that people are circulating from fucking Wikipedia of all places.
Oh God, it's terrible.
Like if you show them, those people that post that, if you show them, no, look, here's a better data. Here's why it looks like this. It's not what you think it is. You're misinterpreting it. What do? Is there a response? Oh, thanks. You know, like now I get it. It's not a problem, or it is a problem. No, that's not the response. The response is wall it off. It's just us. That's what I mean when I say they're racist in disguise.
I just don't get it. I mean, anybody can do a freaking Google search. I mean, I could do one right now and pull up the exact same things that they're pulling up, and not give any links, not give any information on it. Be like, this is the reality. This is exactly what I'm reacting to. And it's like, okay, why are you reacting to it? Where'd you get it from? Just take my word for it. It's like, no, that is not how discussions go.
That's why it drives me nuts that it's this topic in the skeptic community of all places. Like, this is the stupidest topic since that pedophilia thing with what's his name, Amos E. Like, why the fuck are we talking about this? What does it matter? But on top of that, it's like, really? The people that talk about this are horrible, like that side with this and interpreting things. I'm not joking when I say it took me less than 2 minutes to pull up the data and interpret it in my head, you know, a linear progression of population demographics, and see that this whole like white genocide thing is bullshit.
That is just laughable to me. I mean, I understand the whole coming from the side of that people think that they're under attack. They think that if white skin tone disappears, then the culture that has usually come along with that is going to disappear also. That's just not rational thinking.
Well, even if that were true, that's not how it works. Because if you live in a homogenous but multicultural society like the United States, like this guy's probably talking about.
I don't even think the United States is multicultural.
Well, that's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
It's like it is, but it isn't. So it's like it's made up.
It's
of
diverse. It's diverse, but it's not. It's not the culture. It's more of a personal type culture. Like if let's say if I was to go visit someone, I have a friend. She's Italian, or no, she's Greek. Excuse me, she's Greek. And her family, when they all get together, they do the Greek food, like authentic Greek food, and they have all of the beverages and stuff that go with it. They bring out specific kinds of silverware and dishes, and just they Greek it up. Okay, now that's a part of their culture. So,
right.
but at the same time, I mean, they're not like getting on their knees and doing Hail Marys and stuff. I mean, it's not like they're Greek Orthodox. It's just a part of their ancestry, of their history. It's just the foods tie in. So that is what I see as like personal culture. Well, they leave their house and they go out and they work their American jobs. I mean, they live in the United States. So, I mean, I don't see these big swaths of culture that isn't American. Now, whenever they're talking about this multicultural bullshit, diversity, they're talking about black culture. They have a problem with black culture, which is the thug culture. I have a problem with that as well. But that's thug culture. That's not black culture.
Well, yeah, there's subcultures in the United States, like underneath, if you want to say American. There's a ton of subcultures, and the reason there's subcultures is because they still have an overarching, culture that holds everyone in this country together. That's what it is. So, I mean, it's weird. Like, I don't even think you can say something's not American if it's part of an American society, because the whole definition is whatever it is. Because this country is made up of immigrants in a sense. I mean, obviously, if you're born here, second generation, or whatever, that's different. But it's the same concept. It's like you were talking about. It's like, okay, I'm going to maintain some of my sort of cultural things that I enjoy, but it's kind of like melded with everyone else's, and so it's like this. It's this subtle multiculturalism. That's what it is, and so by definition, you really can't be not an American if you live in an American society. Because to be an American means to be homogenous with people like that. You have to have a reasonable level of assimilation to get along, to survive, to thrive as a society. That's what it is. So if you're in the United States and you're not living in an area, which I don't even know where that would be, where it's like insanely sectioned off or sort of like
well, I can bring up an example. In Michigan,
I figured that was
that's the one that always comes up. It's Michigan. So it's like, okay, I know there's quite a few Muslim immigrants, refugees, whatever you want to call them, that have grouped up and have started some shit. They've been throwing rocks at Christians, and I think, was it in Michigan where the mall stabbing happened? I believe it was. But that's going to be the example that's brought up. But
it's not because.
That is such a localized issue. I mean, you have random things that happen here and there, but
people, and you want to be like, see, like, well, you're looking at statistical outliers and freaking out about it.
Yeah,
like when people group up, doesn't matter who or what the reason is.
Minnesota, that's what it was, not Michigan. Minnesota. Thank you, Shane. Thank you, Shane, in the chat for correcting me.
I mean, it would have made sense if it were Dearborn. I believed it, but I didn't. I'm not familiar with it. But either way, so like if you have some sort of, once enclaves start to form, like we talked about last time, that's when they kind of like form this in-group, out-group that's severe. And that's when it's a problem. So by nature, to be an American is to be subtly diverse. You can't not be an American and live in this American society. It's not possible.
As yourself and as an American, I know I could, because grew up in Florida in the South. I know that I could move anywhere in the United States and be
Yeah.
able to assimilate to any people that I'm around, no matter where I move in the United States. I cannot
Yeah.
say that now that I live in England. There are areas in England
Okay.
that I wouldn't be able to just like slip in and kind of melt in. That's just the way it is because
Right.
I have a very distinct look about me and I have a very distinct voice, my accent. So it brings attention
Right.
to myself. So I understand what it is. Now, I'm not saying that I'm nervous or scared or anything. It just makes me take a moment to remember, okay, I sound funny to these people. Don't take offense
Right.
because they're looking at you weird. Don't take offense because they're asking you kind of personal questions. And it's just like, okay, just get past it. And if it does get on my nerves, I'm just like, I'll just make a funny noise or something, or just like wander off and make them feel uncomfortable. But I don't get offended by it. So
Yeah.
all I can say to people in the U.S. is, you have no idea how easy you have it.
Yeah.
So
I can understand that.
try not to be such an asshole to people who don't speak English very well, or they have a funny
Right.
accent, because it's really, it can be kind of nerve wracking.
Yeah.
To
Well,
go into
here's the
another
other thing that
country.
occurred. Here's the other thing that occurred to me with that stupid map, that Wikipedia map.
Is that
So
thing
like,
getting on your nerves? Is it getting on your nerve?
it's just dumb. It's like, let's pass this shit around. And it's like, what? Let's not look into it. Let's just, yeah.
Excuse me.
Anyway. So like, if you look, so like some people who shall remain nameless to protect their
Excuse
stupidity.
me for just one moment. You made me laugh and I'm choking on my coffee.
Intermission.
Oh, gracious. No, go ahead. I'm listening. Ooh, I'm just trying to spare you my coughing fit. I'll try to die quietly.
So, okay, so, like they love to be like look at the Southwest and like California area, and it's like that's where the lower IQs are, and it's like, well, okay, here's what's happening. It's because those areas are connected to Mexico. And the reason that they're lower is because of immigration, but it's not because they're inherently dumb or some stupid shit like that. It's because Mexico's education system, especially in that area that's by the border, is not good. It's very basic. It's like whatever. You're probably going to end up in manual labor if you live in that area.
Yeah.
You're not going to be doing like some kind of academic work or anything like that. So why are they coming here?
Well,
Because
I
they
mean,
understand
even when it comes to like grade school and high school and stuff like that, that's just where you learn your basics. That's not where you're going to learn your career or something like that. These people are thinking that these people are going to learn their careers and figure their lives out when they're in high school. How many of you assholes figured out your life and what you want to do with yourself in high school? You kind of had an idea, but how many of you jackasses have gone in and then completely changed your major? You've totally changed subjects. I'm sure it's more than a few of you.
That happens. I think the average is like 5 times that people do that, something like that.
Yeah.
Which is fine. You're trying to figure it out. Anyway, so you think about the motives though. So like in that area, which if you look, so like they love to, what was that other map that the non-believer posted that was similar, that had to do with migration patterns that I was looking at?
I don't know. He has me blocked, so I can't pull that stuff up. I still have no idea why I'm blocked. All I want to do is talk. I'm talking to you right now. If you and I disagree, do you think I'd like flip my shit?
No.
No.
I mean, not to get stuck on him, but it was just he was the one that was kind of prominent in posting this.
Yeah, hang on, and I'll look.
If you take that map that he posted, which showed migration patterns, and compare it to the other stupid IQ map that's going around,
I think it's in his video.
There's an obvious overlap, and so what it is people that have had an unfortunate background in like education stuff coming to this country. And why are they coming here? They understand it's better. They want to be a part of something that's better than what they're dealing with. So to flip out about it and think they're going to like harm the country or something like that makes absolutely no sense. I mean, they look at another country and go, hey, that place is better than where I am. I want to be there. I like that place. Like what? And your attitude is they're going to be malicious? That makes no sense. It's just like on the face of it, it's just stupid.
I'm looking right now. Are you talking? What color was it? Do you remember? Is it
I
like
think it was
blue?
orange, like gradients of orange. I think is
Okay.
what it was. And then
Yeah.
the other Wikipedia map was green. I'd really
Okay.
have to look to pull it up.
It's okay. I've got
It's
it.
if you can find my account,
Proportions of Europeans. I'm looking
it
at
was like,
I'm looking at his video now because I can't go and pull his Twitter up, so I don't know.
I'll see if I can, because I'm not blocked, because I've never messed with him or anything.
Yeah. Okay. No, I've got it. One's orange and one's green.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've got it now. Hang on a second. I'll screen share it. Do, 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 do. See if I can get my screen off of full screen. That'd be great. See, I wish I could have this conversation with him because I want to understand like what he's trying to say, but I don't know why. But they think I'm not going to listen. They think I'm not going to take him seriously. I'm not going to give him an opportunity to talk. It's like I do want to talk. You just keep calling me bad names and making it personal for some reason. It's like I thought you got into this shit on YouTube because you wanted to talk about things. Now all of a sudden you clam up. It's like what the hell, man?
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't know the dude, but like if he approached me and was like, "Hey, let's talk about this," I absolutely would.
Yeah.
Yeah, I try very hard. I'm sure I fuck up sometimes, but I try it very hard. Like when I'm just like ripping on something, it's going to be a position or a concept or an idea instead of just the person. Now, if someone does something dumb that has nothing to do with the argument, I might slip up and just kind of like mock them in an inappropriate way. But
yeah,
I mean,
okay. Can you see it on the screen now?
Try and be respectful to it.
Yeah.
What's that?
Can you see it on the screen now?
In the My Circle or the Skype?
It should be. Well, I'm not screen sharing. Look at the YouTube feed. It should be on the YouTube feed now.
Oh, like 2 computers and 5 tabs.
I know.
So,
I could have.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, that's it. Well, the green one's different, but yeah, the one on the left, that is the one he posted though. The whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
This Calixit. First of all, Calixit has nothing to do with this, so I don't know why that got brought into it. That's not what it's about.
I don't know what any of this is about, to be honest. Because, I mean, I've just never really looked into it because I've never been afraid of it.
Okay, so notice, I mean, like, they're making their own point. So on the map on the left, notice with the histogram how it begins very dark near the border, and then there's a graduation as it goes further up. Obviously, that's because it's easier to stop as soon as you get across.
Yeah.
Like, unless you have a specific destination.
I mean, even if you look over there down in South Florida, it's the same thing. I mean, because Cuba is right there.
Exactly. So that's why it's happening. And it's not some, like, ridiculous takeover concept or something like that. It's just a natural migration pattern. So look at that. I mean, it's glaringly obvious why that looks that way. And then compare it to this IQ thing, which I don't know if that's that's not what the one on the right is. It's a different one. But if you were to overlay that data, like if you do a multivariate analysis of it, it lines up. You can tell just by looking at it. I mean, now I haven't done that because I have better things to do than grind those numbers for the stupidity.
Yeah.
But you can easily see that's why. It's not some crazy takeover plan.
There goes Windows. Sorry.
It's people that want to be in a place that's better than their place of origin trying to assimilate. That's all it is. It's not this crazy take over the white people conspiracy. Anyway.
They need to do it legally. Legal immigration. Absolutely. Okay, so I'm gonna let this jackass talk just a few more minutes, and then I'm gonna bring up this other video. I mean, because the name of this video and the name of this YouTuber is the Veganator, like I guess Terminator, but the vegan Terminator.
I almost thought it when you first showed it to me. I almost thought it was Vegan Gains.
Yeah, I know who Vegan Gains is, but this is Veganator. I guess he's like into working out and like food. Weird food shit or something, which is surprising. An ideologue who has ideologies on fucking food and fitness. It all matches up. It makes sense anyway. I'll let him go.
People cling. It's this weird cling to different concepts, and
I
I don't
know.
understand it. Like,
Yeah,
you should be
yeah.
more fluid.
Ugh. All right, let's let him chat.
All right.
Things there, but you never
Let go.
hear about that aspect because they don't want you to know that the Indians were tribalistic savages. They're always at war.
What asshole has to tell somebody else that Native Americans or Indians, whichever you would like to call them, were tribalistic?
They prefer it.
They were fucking natives. They ran around in leather cloths and shit. Does this asshole really think that people are going to bring back tribes of Indians? Like, they're going to start running
You're
around scalping
complaining-
people and stuff. This is hysteria.
Yeah, and he's complaining that people that originated somewhat recently, like comparatively, from tribes are behaving tribally. I mean, what the hell is that?
Yes,
I mean, sure, they've definitely assimilated way more over the years, but I mean, that's the complaint. Like, you're saying something is what it is, and then freaking out about it. That is
good
a
job.
nice derp
There you
face,
go.
by the way.
Good job, man. Good job. All right.
Constantly, and they utilized guerrilla warfare to the max. That's what they did to the colonists. They would attack women and children, the weakest of the Europeans, and then they'd go after the males. Gotta learn some history here, and just even think about that.
Okay, so
Go ahead.
other than its obvious body language, like I talked about before, so like if you're one advantage to understanding rhetoric is it's very easy to sort of notice when someone's trying to persuade you, which is almost any time you talk to someone,
Mm-hmm.
and what they're doing, even if they don't realize it, like the techniques they're using. So this guy, for example, is
Appealing to emotion and fear and all that.
yeah. So
That's all it is.
It's pathos is the name of the technique.
Yep.
That's what it is. It's emotion based, and it's so like if you see like a really good example of this is if you ever like watch televangelists.
Oh,
That
that's
is,
what I
like,
was just about to say.
very-
That's why I'm completely turned off by this skis bucket. Because he sounds just like a preacher. It's like, dude, you sound dishonest as hell. But I don't know exactly why, because you're choosing your words very carefully. But I don't trust you. And that's not that's not feelings or emotions. That is my instincts going, this is not a good person. This is not a good person.
It's because when people act like that, they're over exaggerating.
Mm-hmm.
That's all redundant, but their emotions, they're like way more into trying to pull you into it.
Yeah.
Like that's why that's sort of your gut reaction to both someone like this and like a televangelist. It's like, whoa, wait a minute, I need to be on guard. This person really wants me to think this for some reason, and
it's like, why are you so
like,
adamant about this? Why are you so adamant? I have a brain. I can figure this out for me. Do you just present your case and I will go from there? But what do you want to bet that this guy is some sort of salesman? What do you want to
They're trying
bet?
to verbally handcuff you.
Mhm.
That's what they're doing. So
I don't appreciate that kind of stuff. I just don't. It's
if you have
very
to-
it's very offensive to my sensibilities because it's like I have a brain. I do have a brain. I don't need you to interpret shit for me. The body language and the rhetoric styles between people like televangelists or preachers and this guy are identical. Yep.
And that's why you feel that way when they're talking to you. It's sort of like everyone can kind of feel that, even if they don't understand the sort of analysis or breakdown of a person's language or body language. The reason you feel that sort of instinctual, like on guard, like off-putting feeling.
It's not an honest. It's not an honest behavior.
Yeah,
it seems staged. It seems forced. It doesn't seem natural, and our brains pick up on that because it's supposed to.
Yeah, it's very obvious, like an attempt to influence you at all costs.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's over the top.
Okay, let's let him keep going so we can get off this stupid one.
Now, let's get back to what is American. What makes America so great? So let's start off with the beginning. The founding fathers of this country. See, they always talk about how they talk in the Declaration of Independence and all this stuff that this country is for all men are created equal and freedom and all this stuff. See, the founding fathers We're not thinking about
See, I like how he dismisses that so readily until it gets to the point where he wants it to matter for what he's going to be saying.
Right.
Fuck you, man. Fuck you, man.
Mexicans, Hispanics. They weren't thinking about Asians, Indians. And they definitely weren't thinking about black African Americans.
No, you know what? That's your racist brain interpreting it as that. My friend, you are racist.
This dude is, yeah, that's what I mean. So it's like he's not, when I was talking about his like his facial expressions and stuff like that earlier, that's what I was saying is like, it pairs up. That's why I was saying he's like a racist in disguise.
Now look how calm his body is now when he's talking about things that he is convinced of.
Yeah, so like look at his shoulders, how they're relaxed.
Yep. He's not showing his teeth anymore. He's got his chin. Exactly. His chin's relaxed. His eyes are relaxed. All right, let's let him keep going.
His sort of like eyebrow arcs are arc downward. So yeah.
Oh god, this is chilling, man. It's chilling.
I'm sorry to put this to you, but that's the reality of the matter. They were only thinking about white Europeans from Europe. Because this country remained over 90% white European until 1965 when the Naturalization and Immigration Reform Act came into place. That kind of tells you something because there were strict immigration policies and laws in place for only European descendants to come over here.
I want to slap him. I can't even help it. It's like, you snobby, smarmy jackass.
So I don't know if I can explain this adequately.
He's a MGTOW too, by the way.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Jesus.
No wonder he's so fucking angry.
Yeah, so I don't know if there's like a way to explain this, but once you sort of learn enough about rhetoric, and so like the art of persuasion, that's what it is. Once you learn that and you kind of pick up on body language too, it's like when you look at things like this guy, or even when you read an article somewhere, like in a newspaper or whatever, you're not as into it as like before you learned that stuff. Like you're not as drawn in and influenced as easily. You're kind of it's very easy to sort of like externalize yourself and sort of like observe it from afar, and then it becomes blatantly obvious, like the angle of things if there is one, or you know the way that the person is trying to either influence you or not influence you, I suppose. But it's just funny. It's a sensation. It's like it's almost foreign to like be able to step back and sort of observe this. Like it's almost like you're not a part of it. And you go, what? It's just like so obvious what they're trying to do with their methods, even if they don't know it.
I think he knows it though.
Well, I mean, he knows what he's thinking, but like looking at his body language and analyzing his grammar, I don't think he realizes that. So
we'll get.
I guess the other thing too is like look how often or consistent he is at looking directly into the camera as he leans in. He's very clearly using pathos.
He's very aggressive.
To try and convince you and draw you in.
All right, I'm gonna turn the volume down on him talking just a little bit. So if you want to talk while he keeps talking, go ahead.
Good character and moral values, health and education levels. Period. Then on top of that, what made America great? And what was the identity of America? As I stated earlier, it was my people, my group of people. See?
Okay, that's like key right there.
Mm-hmm.
My people, my people. He's being exactly what he's criticizing.
You know what this reminds me of? Whatever I'm listening to it.
What's that?
Jesse Jackson.
Oh man, I was gonna say Stefan Molyneux.
Close.
All the pregnant pauses and stuff.
Yeah.
Like
this reminds me. This reminds me of Jesse Jackson talking about black people.
It's been a while since I watched anything from him, so it's hard for me to think of. But like, if you think of Molyneux,
oh god, no, I know who Molyneux is. He's insufferable.
So, like, pretty much, and By the way, it's fucking aggravating that he
Why
thinks
are
he
you
understands
talking
philosophy.
to me like I'm a fucking idiot? The feminists.
Okay,
The
I should
feminists.
say this because
They
it's
think
important.
women are equal to the men. It's like somebody slap him in the back of the head. It sounds like he needs to hiccup or something, or sneeze maybe. He needs to sneeze. Somebody
Yeah.
shine a bright light in his eyes. Come on. It's like, oh.
Well, it's like, okay, so not even just with Molyneux or this guy, but like pretty much anyone I've seen on the internet. Really, you don't really run into this too often outside of online. But the problem isn't so much that they're misguided or misunderstanding things or something like that. Like, so like if someone
America.
Let's just let him ramble. Go
were
ahead.
to, oh, sorry,
That's okay.
if
goes
someone
by
were
your
to,
ratings,
for example,
that advanced
I don't know. I'm trying to think how to put this. I would never
on top of
berate
that,
someone, for example, or talk down to them if they're just like getting into this sort of like critical thinking type of stuff or something like that. Because everyone has to learn at some point,
Yeah.
and they're trying. They're being intellectually honest. But the problem with people like this guy and Stefan Molyneux and all those other people that are like them is their sort of like confidence level doesn't pair up with their education level.
No. No.
So like if
not
you're
at
just
all.
starting out, it's not even really about humbleness. It's just about honesty.
Right.
So like if you're just kind of starting out learning things, understand that should be the confidence your confidence level should reflect that in whatever you're saying.
That's why I have you here on philosophy things. And that's why if you ever have any sort of a stream or a hangout that is about Christian fundamentalism, I'm your girl. I am totally your girl for that. So, that, I mean, we have to balance each other out. I mean, we just do. I get accused of like echo chamber type stuff a lot. And it's like, no, I do reach out to other people. I reach out to other people on the other side all the time. And I don't think you and I completely agree 100% on everything, but
that'd be kind of weird.
I invite people who completely disagree with me. Come on, come talk to me. I will treat you just as kindly as I do the people like Ricky. I will treat you just the same way. Now, if you're an asshole, then it will change. If you're disrespectful, it will change.
So like, why would you not, right? So like if someone's hosting a stream, for example, and wants to invite someone on that has differing views, but then isn't respectful to them, like what's the angle? It's like, please come on so I can bash you. What?
Well, no, if that is the clear cut thing in the beginning of what's going to happen, then okay, fine. Let's just make sure that from the beginning, that is, we both know that that's the way that this is going to go. And if you want to keep it just completely, let's just talk, or let's bounce ideas off of each other, or you want to pick my brain a little further, or let me pick yours, then we'll do it that way. But as long as I know the rules of what you want to accomplish, I'll play by them.
Right.
No problem.
So, like,
no problem at all.
I know I can like, so like I make snarky sort of barbarous comments on Twitter or something, whatever.
We all do that.
But but like if somebody were to like approach me on Twitter or like in a conversation on Twitter or whatever, back and forth, if the tone would be something like, like I was saying before, something that matches their expertise or education level on a certain topic or something like that, I wouldn't mind it. So like if people DM me, like if I get that and they're talking about philosophy or just questions, cool. I love talking to people about that stuff. No problem. You have absolutely nothing to fear or worry about. I love it. But it's when people get this like overconfident just conviction when they don't completely understand something at all. That's the problem. So like if someone were to say to me like, hey, do you know something about X in biology? I have somewhat of a biology education, so I would qualify that. I'd be like, well, here's what I think, but I'm not sure. I'm not going to like.
You just make sure that the other person is clear on. Okay, I know a little bit. We can talk about it. I'll let you know whenever I'm not quite sure on something. But sure, we could talk about it.
Yeah, and you even see this
People
in like
think
I think
we're making some sort of huge decisions or something while we're sitting here talking about these kinds of things. It's like, no, this is just entertaining conversation. And it's kind of fun to flex your ability to talk to another person and express the knowledge on the things that you're interested in. I mean, that's really all it
Yeah,
is.
absolutely. I mean, I look at my brain like a muscle.
Yep.
Like I try and exercise it. When we does it, it feels more intense, like it's working harder. I mean, it does use protein like your other muscles. But anyway, so with the sort of attitude that comes out of people like this guy, that's the issue I have with them. So like if someone approaches me immediately like this guy, that's how I'm gonna respond to him. I'm gonna match his sort of energy.
I'm gonna be suspicious.
Well, yeah. Well, it's not even. It's like if you're gonna come at me like this, I'm gonna match you the whole way. So like if you calm down or approach me civilly, I'm gonna match
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
I'm not
Well,
gonna,
you can't
go
help
off on
that.
you or make fun of you or something like that. Like if somebody wants to talk to me sincerely about anything, then that's how I'm going to talk to them. I'm going to treat them like they're being intellectually honest, and it's going to be a cool conversation.
Mm-hmm.
But if it's like if the angle is something like this dude, forget it. I'm not going to be kind to you.
No.
I mean, I will be an intellectual vulture. But I think Sam Harris talked about this once. Is if you go to like any type of academic conference, really, but even in philosophy, it's filled, like with speakers, it's filled with qualifications. They will qualify virtually everything they say. I'm not sure about this. I'm not an expert in that.
That's why all the TEDx talks have gone to shit.
The problem is with TEDx is, I mean, there's a lot, but the problem is their TED talks have been become a little too much on the entertaining side.
Yeah.
And they require the people that talk, by the way, to sort of
they have to interact and
meet these lists.
Exactly.
They have like a standard list that they give them of like things they're looking for in their talk, and so that's why they kind of have that overtone to them.
Yeah.
But like if you go to like an actual conference, like not a TED talk, people are falling over themselves to not be assholes, basically, and like make absolute proclamations about things they don't really know about.
Yeah, well, they're supposed to support each other and talk about things, and they're required to go to certain things for the entire week and participate with groups and all kinds of stuff like that. Not be critical. They're supposed to not be critical, and if you go against any of those guidelines, then they can tell you to get out. It's like, what kind of talk is that?
You should be critical in the sense they're analyzing, but not in like a sort of bashing way or whatever.
Yeah. Well, no, they're not even allowed to be. I don't mean in a personal like, oh, that's ridiculous or anything like that. I mean, they're just supposed to like nod their heads. Like, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's like, no.
The question is, why are you here?
Yeah.
So if you're here, for an honest reason, like most people, you just want to learn or understand things or communicate with people.
You don't need to give people a list of rules of how they should act and react to the things that are coming out of your mouth.
Oh, I don't even mean that. I just mean like if you're not in TED, but like in a conference.
Oh, okay.
The whole point of being there, specifically in philosophy, is to exchange ideas, to try and figure things out, to learn things, to interact with people. It's great. So, I mean, if your point is to just go there and be a dick, I mean,
you're in the wrong place.
Yeah, that's not where you want to be. People aren't going to participate with you. I mean, and rightfully so.
Okay.
So, like, this is like a toned down version of that.
Yeah.
That's this guy.
Well, this guy, he's fixing to tone it up. He's going to key it up a little bit in this one. This one is called "We Are Irish," the Jewish clergy plan and white genocide agenda of destroying European identity. That is what this video is called. So it's interesting. I've seen it a couple times because I had to watch it more than once because I couldn't believe what the hell I was hearing and seeing. Enjoy. This is Veganeer.
Shalom Goyim. It's your Jewish friend, your greatest ally, the Veganeer. Well, once again, we're going to be talking about the Jewish influence behind certain things going on in this world. Now, for this video, we're going to be talking about We Are Irish. So here's the hashtag on Twitter, We are Irish. Now look at this, Goyam. Look at this enrichment, the vibrancy of Irish people out there. Well, I mean, you got an African right here. You got...
Okay, sorry to interrupt, but
That's
I
okay.
really want to point this out because I want people to pick up on this before he speaks. So notice how his language is consistently creating an in-group, out-group.
Mm-hmm.
The sort of Goyim comment that he keeps using, things like we or they, creating groups in his words. So especially... it's hard to start with this guy. So he'll keep using... Just pay attention to keywords that he uses that imply divisiveness.
Mm-hmm.
Like he will... I forget what the words are, but there's a few of them because I watched some of this. There's a few words that he consistently repeats.
Diverse culture.
Yeah, that's one of them. And he'll keep repeating these phrases to the camera consistently, which is a dead giveaway that he's continually like pushing this agenda of in-group and out-group like separation. And he does it, by the way, in sort of like a lighthearted manner, like his voice, the tone he's using,
his demeanor
like,
as well.
Oh,
It's a half
no
laugh.
big deal. No, he's talking like this.
Condescending.
It's like, why are you so he's like sort of sing-songing, like we talked about with the pastor trying to persuade you.
Childish.
Yeah, but it doesn't match his facial expression.
No.
It's like, that doesn't line up. So anyway, pay attention to keywords he's going to say. There's like 2 or 3 key phrases that he keeps using entirely throughout the whole thing to create this concept. And he's trying to persuade you. Pay attention to how he's trying to persuade you.
You got an Asian, another African, an Asian, African, a Muslim wearing a hijab or headscarf, an African, another Asian. Look at that vibrancy, the enrichment of the third world coming into your country. Now, these people are Irish.
These people, see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Things like that.
That's the ironic part for you, Goyam. See, is that your identity is up for grabs from any other racial group out there.
Your identity?
Yeah, your identity, you, they, we. He's creating groups.
Yeah.
They could take up your culture and say that, you know what? I'm Irish now. Sort of like the video I made, what is an American? Because any white European identity, culture, tradition out there is just up for grabs. But when it comes to you white Gentiles out there, you can't say that when you go to Japan or Mexico or definitely Africa.
We want people to adopt their host culture.
Yeah, assimilation is how you get peace. Anyway.
Excuse me. I mean, it's like, this is what they bitch about, saying they're not assimilating, It's like, okay, well, they're referring to themselves as Irish. I think that's a hell of a good job.
Yeah, that's kind of what
I am
like
Irish. I like that. I don't give a shit what they're wearing. The hijabs, yes, of course, they're ridiculous, but they're identifying as Irish, not as like African American or Mexican American, or they're not. I mean, if somebody just says they're American, that is fantastic. I mean, you're probably a pretty cool person. If you're identifying as a specific American, you're probably a jackass.
Yeah, just as a sort of like a side note, at least like most people, like everyone I've met, at least personally, and I've lived all over, Black people generally hate being called African American.
Yeah, I know.
Just like Indians prefer American Indian. They don't like this sort of native, just these bullshit phrases that other people have developed. That's why they don't like them.
All the people that have problems with the identity politics from like the last 4 to 5 years all of a sudden adopt their own identity politics. It is unbelievably ironic and hilarious all at the same time. It's like,
yeah, this dude I know out of Atlanta, he's Black, and he cannot freaking stand it when people call him African American. He's like, I'm from here.
I've never been to the mother country.
I'm nothing like them. Anyway. that was kind of a side note. But
We
so
are
he's
similarly colored, okay?
Yeah.
Does that make you racist? Because that's all you can see is my color, so you automatically think I'm an African.
Yeah,
Thanks,
we're
asshole.
visually similar. Congratulations. What the hell does that mean? How is that relevant to your life?
It's like people
But
automatically assume I'm white. I'm not.
yeah,
It's like, no, I just look like one. Thanks for getting
Look
my
like-
ethnicity wrong, but I don't care. It's like
Right.
I'm American. Well, I'm American English now, but
So what I was talking about with the race realist thing with the IQ,
hmm
this guy's doing the same thing. So excuse me. Okay, so the whole time, like the whole setup thus far, he's consistently created this in-group out-group mentality to you when he's talking to you, and then right now, he's built this up. You know, you're in danger. These other groups are gonna sort of
he's about to
be a
tie.
threat
He's
to
about to
you.
tie it up.
And now, all of a sudden, he switches the tone to, and here's the answer. Here's a problem I gave you. Now here's the solution. Draw you in to the ideology he's pushing. So it's the same way that so it's like a mini version of, say, God in Christianity. It's
Yeah.
like he's cutting you so he can sell you a Band-Aid.
Yep.
That's what he's doing. And by the way, you would think, same thing, you would think that he would approve of this. Like these people, this whole "we are Irish" thing, the whole point is they're assimilating.
Yeah.
They want to
They're
sort
saying
of
I do look
homogenous
different. I do look different, but I am
Yeah.
Irish.
So this guy's main gripe is essentially
They're not redheaded and super
people
white.
are different than us.
Basically, they don't look like what I look like.
Right, but okay, so he's saying, okay, here's these groups that are different than us, quote unquote. I mean, I guess he's talking to white people. They're different than us, and the problem is that they're different from us. It's like, well, the whole point of this is that they're trying, these people are assimilated. They're homogenous culture. Like, you would think this would be something he'd welcome. It's the same thing with the race realism. It's like, you should, if this is your true agenda, you should welcome this, but you're against it. You want to draw lines, and then what's next? Who knows? That's kind of disturbing to ponder.
There's only one way that this conversation continues to go.
Yeah, and
there's only one way: segregation.
Yep. Like, what's the next step? You're just gonna mic drop? No, no. You're a racist, flat out. That's the goal.
Yep. All right, let's let him keep going.
People will look at you like, do you have a mental problem? Now, see, this is the ironic part. It's just a coincidence that in Ireland by 2050, the native Irish are going to be a minority within their own homeland.
Yeah, I've got to pause that too because I have a little bit of a thing to say because I know a few Irish.
Okay.
There's quite a few of them. They're leaving because the jobs are just not there. They're leaving and coming over to England or wherever. I know they're coming over to England, but wherever it is that they're choosing to go for work. So they have no choice. The work is limited and there's a lot of people. So
there's a lot of corporations that are pseudo-based in the United States that are, for tax reasons, they base out of Ireland because it's a better break for them. But they don't actually have I think Google did this a while back. And then I think they changed it because they decided it wasn't very ethical. But they would create an office in Ireland and then incorporate there. So it's okay, maybe, but that'd be great if you actually had some kind of thing there. Anyway.
Yeah, the economy there is going to benefit.
I don't know any Irish people. I mean, obviously there's Irish people in the United States, but I don't know anyone that's actually actively living in Ireland.
I do.
But
I know a few.
It seems to me that
if you don't live in the metropolitan areas, then I mean you're pretty much fucked.
I could see why.
Because when you get out, there's just not that many. I think there's 2 big cities. I know Dublin's one. Oh, what's the name of the other one? I'd have to look, but there's 2 main cities, and that's pretty much it. The rest is just farmland, and there's obviously things you can do on the coast, but it's not It's not big companies or corporations. It's local stuff, touristy stuff. So
Yeah.
these men that are leaving, it's younger generations. It's because it's like they don't want to farm. That's not where the money is anymore. The money's in technology and with the internet or just something to do technologically. Excuse me. I'm sitting here eating a
But
cookie.
Kari,
I can't help that.
Kari. But they took our jobs.
Okay.
Oh my God.
I know.
That's all I can think of when I hear this kind of stuff. Is like,
Well, they took your jobs. I mean, they
It's
operate
so
convenience stores mostly. Convenience
you
stores,
don't like. It's not like you have a
Chippies.
well, it's not like you have a pool of jobs, and then you can only have so many, and then people can fill them. Like, first of all, it's weird to say you're entitled to it, but whatever. It's not like it's a limited resource. Like, people show up, make corporations or whatever, and then they create jobs. It's not like
It just seems like whining to me.
job.
It's like if you want the job that you want, make yourself more valuable to a company. If you make yourself more valuable, how are they going to tell you no?
Right, but it's not even that. It's not like the whole point to me is it's not like, say there's 1,000 jobs available and then people show up that you don't like or whatever from another location and take 500 of them. Like, it's not like that. They show up and then there's jobs because they show up.
Yeah.
It's not like you have a limited quantity of jobs and then other people can grab them out from under you. That's not how it works. It doesn't make any sense.
It does to a degree, but my brain's not in that mindset right at the moment. It's not in that mode. I'm in douchebag mode because this guy's triggering the shit out of me. So,
yeah, it's hard to stay calm with stupid shit like this.
All right,
you gotta hone your ability to sort of work your way through bullshit if you really want to sharpen your.
Oh, I can work through bullshit. I just want everybody to hear and see what this jackass is about to do, and we can pull his shit apart in just a moment.
Right. Yeah, just like not even you. I just like the general you.
No, everybody. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like practices. If you're looking to sharpen your analytical skills.
Man, are you kidding me? I'm on the internet a lot. I know how to pull apart bullshit, that's for sure. I know you weren't talking to me. No confusion there. Yeah, no. Pull things up that are like this and force yourself to watch it and analyze it. By the way, I really wanted to say this the first stream we did because I think this is really important. Go ahead.
I didn't get to it.
You are now a part of Duly Noted, my friend. Oh, I haven't even said that. Okay, so Ricky is now going to be a part of the stream every single week, and I think we definitely agreed on Thursdays and Sundays too. Did we talk about Sundays?
We were thinking about doing every other Sunday. I think we haven't quite settled on that.
Okay,
but we were definitely.
So it'll probably be at least every other, if not ever, and if not every. We'll just see. We'll just kind of see how it goes.
Yeah,
but yes, we'll be partners. Yeah, it'll be different topics every time. If anybody has any suggestions for the week or whatever, something we should look into, or you want to hear us cover, or if you want to come on and cover it with us, because we do have the little middle square open for another person to come in. If you completely disagree with us and want us to go back onto another subject we've already covered, let me know. I'll set it up. Get in touch with me. I'm more easily available, reachable online on Twitter at Mudpuddle. That's me. And Ricky is at Shifty Risk. His is on the screen as well. But so Ricky's going to be a part of the podcast every week, and sometimes he'll do it by himself. Sometimes I'll do it by myself. Sometimes he'll do it with somebody else. Sometimes I'll do it with somebody else. It's not going to be like completely set type of thing. It's just going to be this nice, comfortable, open platform. We'll talk about a little bit about everything. I think the next thing we're going to do is like legit conspiracy theories, because that's fun.
Oh yeah. We were talking about that. That'd
I think that's the next one that we should do. A few of the things that I've looked at so far seem to be pretty interesting. It's just like
let's not give it away.
No, I definitely I'm not going to bring it up. No teasers. But yeah, go ahead. Continue your message. Continue your message. Sorry for interrupting. You can tell me to be quiet.
I don't know. Oh no, it's fine. I just I did it to myself too. I can't
That's
remember it
okay.
again. It had something to do with basic skills. What was it? Man,
Oh,
we're talking about hate watching.
mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, I'll have to try and come back to it. I got it
Just being
mentally
able to
got derailed.
be
I'm
able to
sure I'll
pick
think of it again.
bullshit apart. That's basically what you're
Yeah.
saying.
Oh man.
Stay
No.
open.
Yeah. Well, it was something deeper than that, and I'll think of it. We'll
I'm
come back to it.
I'm so sorry.
No, no, it's not. I did it too. It's cool.
You just told me to shut the hell up. All right, let's let asshole continue to mumble.
That be like the same thing that's going on in every white European country, where us, Jews have a control over your governments, your banking institutes, your media system. Just ironically, this is going on in all white European countries where the natives are becoming a minority, and this.
Okay. Notice too how he's consistently implying things.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't make outright statements very often, or he never backs things up with like some kind of fact. He's always implying, like, what do you think this means? What does this look like to
He's
you? And
rubbing his
he's,
chin in a circle in a villainous type manner.
yeah, he's trying to get you to come to the conclusion he wants you to,
Without
subtly.
saying it.
It's kind of like when you're talking to someone and they're being more intellectually honest than this guy, and they say something like, something similar to like surely, or this must be the case, but they don't say why.
Yeah.
Pay attention to that. That's what this guy's doing. He's continually like, well, this is obvious, and look at this, and what do you think? Like, he's not making statements. He wants you to try and come to his bullshit conclusion. Anyway, carry on.
And this enrichment, this diversity is just flowing into your countries. And the ironic part is that you would think that these third world immigrants or refugees coming into your country would have some pride in their own racial group, traditions, cultures, and people, that they would not want to say that, hey, we are Irish, or we are French, we are an American, because it doesn't work that way. It depends on your race. Race is what identifies your tradition, your culture, or a group of people. For example, us Jews.
That is bullshit.
Fucking fail.
That is bullshit.
I like how we both just like slammed the pause button at the
Yeah,
same time.
that was like simultaneous. Just pause. That is such bullshit.
Yeah. This is so boneheaded. No.
Race.
His response to that.
There.
No.
What?
It's irrelevant at this point. It's okay. So like a ridiculous amount of long time ago, whatever. You know what I'm saying? That's when it's sort of, race was sort of like an indicator of things like culture, when people were way more tribalistic just because of geography. I mean, like, sure, I guess you could maybe get away with it then, but now it's pretty much irrelevant, which is the whole point of this "We Are Irish" thing. No, that's not what makes someone of a certain culture. It's the fact that they're part of that society. They've adopted whatever cultural norms or social norms or practices that exist there. That's what gives them that identity.
Okay, people, come on.
Like it or not,
Listen to me when I tell you this. You can have whatever cultural norms you would like in the privacy of your own home, but if those cultural norms prevent you from functioning in a typical civil society, then you are the problem. So,
well, yeah,
that's
kind of what
normally
I mean by
whenever people they drop their personal things and are able to blend in at work or in social settings with other people besides people that believe the same things they do. That is integration. Now, once you step into their home, you might be exposed to some of their things that they believe or some of the things that they practice, but you are choosing to enter into that. They're trying to say that the Muslims are going to move in and it's going to turn into Sharia. That's what they're alluding to.
Yeah.
It's like,
okay, so
no.
there also has to be, so the assimilation and sort of the outside world, so to speak, that has to bleed in to their private life.
Yeah.
And it usually does. It usually does.
I'm sure they
That's
have
when you have
TVs in their
problems.
house. I'm sure they have internet and cell phones. And the
Well,
more
yeah.
exposure that they get to Western technology and Western culture, which is littered with technology and advancements and things like that, the more they're going to make use of it. And the more it's going to be second nature. And I mean, it's just a progression.
Well, it's more than just physical things in the world too. It's
Yeah.
interacting with people in a certain way. It's what's socially deviant and what's not.
Okay.
So
Let me give
what's
an
expected of you.
example of what I'm trying to say. Okay, we've all heard the
Okay.
interviews of like celebrities who have come from another country. Let's say Mila Kunis. She came from Russia, I believe, either Russia or Czechoslovakia. One of those. She came from
That
there,
is
and
not a country anymore.
yeah, well, she didn't. She didn't speak English whenever she came to the U.S. She learned how to
Right.
speak English by watching TV. Okay, if she had not,
I know people have done that.
yeah, if she hadn't have been exposed to that television, then she may not have been able to learn English as quickly as she did, or as fluently as she did, to be able to go to school, make friends, things like that. So that's what I mean whenever I'm saying be exposed to that type of Western culture.
Yeah, so
It's like
a way
something
to,
that we all participate in and we can all relate to. That's where we'll all start. It's just like the internet. It's just like Twitter. You come into
That's what I was just
contact.
gonna say.
Yeah, you come into contact with people all the time that you wouldn't normally in your real life. I mean, because how many people bounce from continent to continent constantly? I mean, I have friends.
Right.
I have friends in Australia. I have friends in Sweden. I have friends in Germany. I have let me see. I have like 4 friends in Africa. Tons in the U.S., of course, and quite a few now in England. And so, but there's no way that I would have come into contact with those people whom I've learned things from about their own culture, and they've set me straight on a few things as well. But that if that technology wasn't available, then I would have never come into contact with them. So when I say we should expose them to Western culture technology, that's what I mean. I don't mean like cars or printers or iPods or anything like that, which those would be helpful. I mean, the things that matter, where they're going to draw information from about the real world and not their own little bubble. It helps. And that's being diverse. You have to have that.
So when you function, right. So, okay. So when people come together in a society of any kind, like this, like Ireland or wherever, it doesn't matter. If they're going to function as a society, they're forced to cooperate.
Yeah.
And that includes compatibility with cultural practices. So when we were talking about the sort of private versus public life, and I was saying that the public sort of aspect of things usually bleeds into the private, or should, if you're interested in having a stable society. That's what I mean. Is so like when you have things like, okay, so like the most terrorist attacks in the West, if you take a look at those people's personal lives, they have a very sharp distinction between their public life and private life.
Oh,
most of them are very well educated.
That's true.
They hold very good jobs. You know, they have their shit together in the outside world, and then they go into private mode, and it's like complete, another world.
Yeah, radicalization.
And and it's hard to do that on an individual level. So, like, if you're a family that just moved to another country, it's not going to be very aggressive or whatever, however you want to phrase it. The way you sort of practice things in your home, in the sense that it's not compatible with the outside world or whatever. That's not going to be an issue. The problem is the sort of enclave type stuff. If you mob up unintentionally, usually, you surround yourself with the same thing and sort of create like a mini culture of things that are what you normally keep in the private life are now like becoming this group in the public life. That's when you have problems, because assimilation is how you have a stable society.
Yeah.
And that's why you see like terrorist attacks draw that the people that do it in their personal lives have that very sharp distinction between the outside world and the inside world. The problem is it's not blending at all.
Okay, I see what you're saying. And I mean, it does make sense. Just all of this stuff is just so far extreme that I guess you have to already have that inclination to think on an extreme level to be able to be like, yeah, this makes total sense.
Well, like when you're presented with something like this, people are going to go one of two ways. They're either going to be sensible and calm and rational about it and just take it as it is and go that direction with it, or they're going to feel threatened or panic or that kind of thing and then go the complete opposite direction and just make a huge scene of it, basically, if you want to phrase it that way. You're either going to be okay with whatever it is, or you're going to freak out and mob up.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what this white nationalism is. That's what this race realism is. It's you let your inner instincts of sort of like, I'm under threat. People that look like me are under threat. Let's group up to survive, and let's form in and out groups to
feel better.
Otherize, to feel more confident about ourselves.
Once again, back to emotion.
Yeah, it's this instinct to sort of feel stable.
Yeah,
like you can predict things.
Well, I mean, I could totally empathize with that, but holy Jesus! I mean, he gets worse. So I'm gonna let him keep talking because this video really does disturb me. Because it gets darker.
Okay.
So I'm gonna let him talk for let's let him talk for about a minute and a half, and I'm sure I'll need to stop.
Jews.
Okay, yeah, pay attention to his language.
Believe it, that we're not going to allow an African to state that they are Jewish because Jews are a race. It's not a religion. Now the ironic part is that this is a serious matter on Twitter right now. This We Are Irish. People are sending in photos, tweets, all this stuff. And like this guy right here, he writes, I'm Irish. So are these people. We had better learn a lesser nation without them. Sad to think that some people believe otherwise. Hashtag We Are Irish. So you got a black soccer player, a black guitarist, rock and roll, a black woman, and an Asian soccer player. Oh. And then you got your typical African Muslim right here. Come at me, bro. Hashtag We Are Irish. As you can see, a lot of people are liking this, retweeting this, and commenting. And then this lady right here, a Middle Easterner. Pram Noit. When I tell people I'm Irish, they always ask, where are you really from? Hashtag We Are Irish.
The only thing I'm disturbed with on this little part is how unnaturally large this woman's eyes are in this little selfie. She's obviously been messing with her settings on her cell phone a little too much. Okay, sorry, I had to point that out. Sorry, it's disturbing. Don't look directly in her eyes.
Also, real quick, pay attention to his tone.
Yeah.
So like the pitch of his voice.
He's amping.
Kind of, it gives away what he's doing, the sort of setup linguistically.
Mm-hmm. It gets worse.
The reason why they're asking you this, Middle Easterner, is because you are not a native Irish. When you say that you are Irish, people look at you like, no, you're not Irish because you are not part of that racial group identity. Now, see, this is where it comes to when it comes to white Europeans when I was talking about. See, people look at you like you are a moron if you say that, I'm Chinese, I'm Mexican, I'm African. Just how ironic that identity of where your Goyim identity can just be disappeared into the third world. Now, see,
you're under threat. These people.
Be brave. Okay, so no, hang on. Now he's going to go after someone for this problem.
Oh, awesome.
Mm-hmm.
See, this is the native stock of Irish people right here. You got the blonde orange hair with the light colored blue or green eyes and the fair skin. Or your stereotypical Irish right here with the really bright orange hair, green eyes or blue eyes and very fair.
I match this description. I am not Irish.
By the way,
I'm Syrian Spanish.
interesting. The girl on the far right, the little girl,
She's
looks
beautiful.
like. Well, I was gonna say she looks not real.
I
She
know.
looks like a porcelain mannequin.
She does. She looks like a little
Anyway.
baby doll. She's beautiful. That's what my babies looked like when they were little. Had little fat cherub cheeks. Not anymore. They've grown up, of course. All right, I'll stop. I'll stop gushing.
Skin. Now, the black Irish is right here. Dark hair and these pale skin. And it's just kind of ironic because, see, this is what you going.
Look at his face. Look at his face, okay?
He's giddy to do this.
Look at the woman in this picture, okay? She is obviously Caucasian. She has blonde hair, blue eyes, I'm guessing, and a black eye. And that is a biracial infant in the background. Okay? That's most likely her baby. Now, why would he be smiling at this? Do we think he's smiling at the baby that's being really cute in the background? Or do we think he's smiling because this white lady has a black eye from her
Well, he'll
partner?
give himself. He'll give himself away. Like, it's not. You don't have to really infer. He will flat out.
Yeah, well,
say,
I know he will. But I just wanted to stop it right here. I mean, whose eyes light? He has a light in his eyes at seeing the after of a woman obviously being beaten by a man.
Yeah, he's so attached to this agenda that he's giddy over something like this just because he thinks it justifies what he's saying.
Have you, Ricky? Let me ask you a question.
Yes, I found it.
Have you ever been in a fight, or have you ever been like in the gym and like caught a punch?
Not in the gym, but yeah, I've been in fights.
Okay, so, and I'm guessing it was with another man, right?
Most of them, except for one.
Okay, well, so you've been struck by a man?
Yeah.
It hurts. It fucking hurts. I've been hit by a man. I know what that kind of pain feels like. And I know the kind of force that you have to endure to suffer a black eye like that. And he's going to sit here and laugh. And most likely that baby that's sitting in the background watched or heard that happen.
Yeah, that's how entrenched and stuck with this is. With this concept that he is. It's so important to him that this be true that something like this pleases him. That's a very good indication of how mentally attached to this he is. And he's willing to be happy about something like this.
And it was a white man who did that to me. It wasn't another race. It was a white man who did it. So what does that say?
It's irrelevant.
Exactly.
The race.
Exactly.
You need to do. You need to misogyny. And this lady right here is kind of, famous off of World Star YouTube, where she talked about her African lover, who she has 2 little mixed babies with, and she got her eyes all punched out, beaten, and she was just like, how can you do this to me? How can you leave me with my children? That is just the enrichment and vibrancy you Goyim are experiencing at all times.
I can't let that go. Just like the body language of that is revolting. Mm-hmm. Paired up with what we're talking about, he's excited about this. He's like, yes, this confirms what I want to be true. It's like, that is disgusting. Like, that's how entrenched he is. He wants this to be true so bad that he's excited about this. He thinks it's a great thing. And, it's hard to stomach that.
All-time high. And we encourage you to do more and more to push forward our clergy plan. The white genocide that we are responsible for implementing within all your homelands, your identity, your culture, and especially your people and civilizations. Because see, us Jews in Israel, we're definitely not going to tolerate this or allow this to go on in our countries, because that is some strength that we cannot handle, and we're not worthy of this diversity and multiculturalism, because Israel is a Jewish ethno-state, but everything for yours, Goyim, is up for grabs by the third world. Enjoy.
He's awful.
Yeah, let me. I'm going to send you just to end this bullshit. I'm going to send you a link real quick if you could screen share it.
Sure, of course. Send it to Twitter.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
There you go.
I've got to clear my throat. That video really does upset me. So, anybody that accuses me of running on emotion, then you're damn right I'm running on emotion right at the moment. But this is how you control emotions that are not quite that palatable to other people. You just keep
you don't want to
mouth
eliminate
shut.
emotion. Well, you don't want to eliminate emotion. You want to control it.
Yep.
But yeah, so try it if you could screen share this. I just want to end this dumbass narrative of
no problem.
This white genocide stupidity.
All right.
Like this is you. Okay. Let me pull up because I have to keep messing with the YouTube thing. So I can see what you're doing.
Oh, I'm sorry. I need to screen share it on Skype, don't I? Let me do it real quick. I can do it.
Oh, yeah, that'll work too. Okay, cool.
Let me see. I don't remember how to do it over here. Screen share. Where are you? The people that I've come across in just the past, I'd say, 2 months has really snapped me back around to reality, if I'm honest, because I just really didn't think that these people were out there anymore. I thought we had moved past this sort of thing. I was wrong. But I'm glad I'm aware of it now. I'm really trying to figure out how to screen share this on. Okay, you're just going to have to look at the...
Yeah, I got the YouTube pulled up.
Okay.
It's cool.
All right, so what are we looking at?
A blank avatar of me.
Yeah, okay. Look at the YouTube feed. I can't get it to pull up.
I got the YouTube.
Okay, I can't get it to pull up on the thing.
Yeah, don't worry about Skype. I got it. Okay, so there it is. Now, this is only differences of 2 years, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
So right here, let's see, 1, 2. Where is it at? Okay, the third one down, race and Hispanic origin.
Race and Hispanic origin, okay.
So even with only 2 data sets comparatively, look at the progression there. They're all from 2010 to 2015, 5 years. So at the top, you have white, an increase of, 4.7%?
Yeah.
Look at black right below it.
Mm-hmm.
An increase of less than 1.7.
Yeah, see that.
American Indian, actually, 0.3. Asians went up 0.8.
0.4
Hawaiians did
to
the same.
Yeah.
2 or more races dropped.
Hawaiians and other Pacific, they did nothing. Wow.
Yeah, they're leveling. Hispanics increased by
0.3.
1.3.
Yeah.
1.3.
And the white alone, not Hispanic or Latino.
Dropped.
It dropped.
Yeah, there's like several that dropped. So here you go. It's bullshit. There's no white genocide. White people are accelerating faster than any other group or demographic. And by the way, that's because there's more of them. That should be obvious. Even if they're like choosing to not have kids, there's still enough of them that they're outpacing the rest of the other demographics. So there you go. There's no white genocide. You're an idiot. That took literally less than 2 minutes to look this up through Google from a legitimate resource.
Yep.
So, there you go.
Census.gov. Quick facts. I will copy this and stick it in the description.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Don't be lazy. Seriously, that's one of the biggest factors of people making errors in judgment.
There goes Wendell.
Laziness.
So did you see the new Wendell thing? Did you see?
I just missed it. I was reading the page.
All right, hang on, and I'll do it again.
Okay.
I will do it again.
I love that.
Oh, there he goes.
Oh, there you go. Nice.
I love it. Oh man, I love it. I fell asleep before my husband did, and he stayed up a little bit longer than me, and he did it while I was asleep. So whenever I woke up, he showed it to me, and I laughed so hard because it's so funny. It's fantastic.
Ireland is, by the way, this in the comments, Shane. Ireland is a country. Last time I checked. Yeah, exactly. And what's a country? It's just a geographically
No,
segregated area.
Ireland's not a country.
Oh, yeah, you know what the point is, though, right?
Yeah.
So,
oh no, I have an echo.
There's no such thing anymore. Like, nobody's grouped off like that to that extreme anymore. That's gone, and it's not coming back, and that's a good thing. Assimilation is how people get along.
We want people to move forward. We don't want anyone tribaling up or grouping up, and I mean that's not what anyone wants, because we've seen it in the past and we see it still today. When that kind of stuff happens, it doesn't lead to anything good. I mean, and that is exactly what's going on with these people on the alt-right or the white nationalists and stuff like that. They're getting really, really tribalistic, and that was the one thing that they were reacting to, was other groups of people like BLM and now Antifa, whatever the fuck it's called. They're reacting to to those individuals, but they're now emulating the same behavior, and it's like, no. We didn't like it when they did it, and we sure as hell don't like it when you do it. So just cut it out, please.
Hey, Hellbound, by the way. Hi.
Hi, Heathen. How are you doing?
But, and okay, so you know how people in those groups love to call you regressive?
Oh, man.
Ironically, not to parrot this guy that just loves saying ironically, but they're the ones
caught it.
You can't be more
You caught his
regressive.
ironic bug. That's ironic.
but like people that talk like this, that want to do this, that want to mob up, that want to go back to the sort of group behavior that we had a very long time ago just for survival purposes.
Yeah.
Ironically, they are the ones being regressive, like in a literal way, not just in the sense
they're going back to racism. That's going backwards. Literally going backwards.
All racism. Okay, so racism is just a mentality. You know, it's not the same as prejudice. That's a practice. But racism, all racism is an extreme in-group, out-group, and it results in fear and sort of protectionism, and that's why it leads to disaster. Almost always.
Yeah.
It's here's us, we got to survive. Here's all these other people that aren't us. What do we do with them? What do you think's next? So. Yeah. Well,
okay. Since we're pretty good and deep into this, I'm going to bring up one more video, but it's not mine. It's going to take me just a second to find it. And I don't think he'll mind me sharing this video because I haven't been able to find the original clip, and he doesn't have the original clip of this girl in his video that he's doing. It's Reese, Nightmare Fuel podcast.
Yeah. I love that dude. Yeah.
It's one of his videos, and I'll put the link. I'll put a link in the description for his video, so you can go and watch it as well. But he covers this one girl, and she's a part of a duo, Virtue of the West, I believe it's called, and she is wretched.
Yeah, I've seen that. Oh. By the way, anyone who's not into to Nightmare Fuel, Reese is fucking awesome. If you're not subscribed to him, do it.
We all know Reese.
Yeah, I mean, I know there's some like lurkers that are new, maybe. So if you don't know who he is, sub up.
I subscribe to Reese. He unfollowed me on Twitter not too long ago because he got upset with a few things that I said. But he followed me back, and we worked out our differences, and now we just.
Yeah, he's a cool
we just bump into each other every once in a while. I tell him he's being a snob, and he tells me I'm being a twat. So it happens.
Hey, just to like shamelessly plug, but also simultaneously support Reese. I'm the one that created the graphic that he has for his
Oh,
"Don't Tread on Reese" T-shirt?
oh my God, you're kidding.
No.
Oh
I'm
no,
the one that
did you? Okay, you're not saying that you did a skeleton, just his T-shirt.
No, it's sort of like the "Don't Tread on Me" flag.
Mm-hmm.
It's that modified with like the skull for the head, and it says "Don't Tread on Reese."
Okay, I haven't seen
And
it.
he liked it enough to make it a shirt, so that's awesome. I was
Yeah,
flattered by
that's
that.
fantastic. Good for you.
So it's a cool shirt. If you want to support Reese, head up to Teespring, see what he's got.
Where did that? Yeah, that whole clone thing with him and Armored Skeptic, that shit was hilarious.
Oh my god,
That was
I
hilarious.
couldn't. I still laugh at that.
Yeah.
Like, anyone that didn't see it, I randomly came across these socks in a store the other day that said "Skeptic" up the side, and I couldn't resist. I intentionally bought them just to troll him. It's on my feed.
I've been a fan of Armored Skeptic since he like popped onto the scene. And I understand that some of the stuff he covers and some of the things that he takes on they can be kind of lightweight, but I do enjoy him. He makes me giggle. I know he's a total cheese ball, but I have mad respect for him coming out and apologizing, like for the perceived ego or for saying things that he shouldn't have said. I mean, I completely respect that. That was you don't see people conceding or coming out and apologizing when they've obviously been a dick.
Yeah, and props due for that. I mean, so like when I give him shit about anything, it's not like I don't know the dude.
No, just tongue in cheek.
The thing that
it's like, remember when you were an asshole? I remember when you were an asshole.
Even if it's not tongue in cheek, the point isn't like on a personal level, fuck this guy. It's like the reason I have issues with his content is because he's doing a good job at sort of promoting this sort of skeptic mentality and encouraging people to sort of be more rational. Great. I love that. And he's got a big audience. The issue I take with the content is, well, then what? The problem is he's got a pretty good tool set, a mental tool set.
Yeah.
Not just for himself, but he's also giving it to millions of people, which is awesome. Great. But he's not applying it to anything. You see what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
That's the
I understand. Content. Well, his whole thing is I don't think he really has an end game. I think he just wants to maybe stay in this specific cycle of conversation.
Yeah, and I get that.
And that's where he's comfortable, because you got to remember, you and I are completely comfortable talking about anti-theist stuff because it brings up some pretty taboo subjects whenever you start talking about not wanting religion in society or trying to minimalize it as much as possible. I mean, that's pretty taboo. Now, when it comes to Greg, that's not his thing. That's just not his. He has absolutely no interest in that whatsoever. But he will give credit to the argument about anti-theism being beneficial, but then he has the question, where do we go after that? And I don't have an answer for him for that yet. So I understand where you're coming from. You and I, we're a little bit more cutthroat. He's a little bit more laxed on it. He'd rather sit there and talk about the semantics than he would finding a solution, I should say.
Yeah, and I mean, like, on a personal level, that drives me nuts. But just, I got to give him props, though, for trying to popularize and encourage people to critically think.
Yeah, because he has fans on both sides.
Yeah.
If a creationist will watch him, good.
Right. Well, I get why he does what he does. I get it. I just don't agree with it.
Okay.
But I'm very.
I can see that.
I'm very happy. I'm very happy that he's popularizing this, though. I think that's fantastic.
Yeah.
And it's, by the way, I still feel weird talking about people that, like, on an individual level that I don't know. Like,
I know. Well, okay. When it comes to,
I feel weird if I were to say, like,
he put that stuff out there.
I don't know the guy, calling him by his name. That's weird. I'm not used to that. But, like, that's why I try and refer to his content.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know this guy. I'm not trying to personally whatever.
Well,
But yeah,
I don't know him personally either. I've interacted with him quite a bit. And of course, I know everything about him that he shared, like on his channel and like social media and stuff like that. So I don't know him on a personal basis, but I know as much about him as he has shared. And the things he has shared has passed my, it has passed my litmus test of, okay, I'll watch you.
the only reason I don't consistently, like, I don't sub to him, and the only reason for that is, well, other than like I'm pretty, like, I don't really learn anything new, is there's so much overlap in the community that you kind
Yeah.
of have to pick.
You got to pick
some
and
sort
choose. Yeah.
to just not get redundancy. And that's not like a slam or anything.
No, I totally understand. There's a couple people that people have brought up, and I'm like, who the hell's that? They're like, what? You know what? I'm like, no, never even heard of them. And then I go and look, and they're in my recommended side on in YouTube. I'm like, oh shit, I should know who that is. Okay, let me go ahead and let him go.
Yeah, Nightmare Fuel. Fire
Here
him
you
up.
go,
That's
Reese. Here you go.
I have always meant to review portions of it. They've had guests such as Lauren Southern, Tommy Robinson, and Black Pigeon Speaks. And the girl we are about to watch a video from is one of the hosts of said podcast. Her name is Tara McCarthy. I think just from this clip, you're going to get a pretty good idea of the problems that I might have with this show. In this video,
They are gigantic cunts. I'm going to go ahead and warn you right now. Okay.
Let's preface this.
Yep.
Okay, now that you've been primed.
Oh, yes, they are.
she is going to attempt to rationalize and explain how we could form an ethno-state. This was reposted by a Twitter page that I was linked to, in which they described her as based Tara McCarthy. Nothing more based than kicking the darkies out, right? But you know what? I'm prejudging. Let's hear her out. Let's hear her explanation as to how not only this is ethical, but how this is even feasible.
All right, lots of people have been asking me this, so I'll answer it for you. How do you physically deport the millions of non-whites? And if they refuse, what then? Kill them? Okay, so this is obviously a concern that comes up when people talk about ethno-nationalism.
Okay, you know me, I have a very happy trigger finger, and I need to pause just to have a moment to brace myself for the pain and reflect. I am still struck by how seemingly normal this person is. Like, imagine how many of these motherfuckers you just pass on your way to work every day, and you have no idea what's going on in their head. You're walking along, you're probably...
Okay.
That's true. I mean, that's true. It's true.
Another reason I love Reese's content is just he just cracks me up like every minute. It's like, I know I was just muted, but I was like laughing pretty hard for like the last how many seconds it's been.
I have that same voice in my head playing anytime I click on any alt-right shit. I'm like, good God, prepare me for this abortion that I'm fixing to watch. I will never be able to scrub it from my brain again. Please give me strength. Please. Who are you praying to? Fucking nobody. Sorry, I'm talking to myself again.
I just realized too, just coincidentally, I'm wearing my Sugar Skull shirt. I didn't even notice that. Huh.
Coincidence or is it fate? We'll never know. Wah, wah, wah.
And you're probably thinking about like last night's edition of Walking Dead, and you pass somebody who has ethno-state on the brain. It's just...
That's great.
It's like, you thinking about what?
I'm sorry.
I'm thinking about a guy who beats people to death with a baseball bat wrapped in barbed wire. All right, let him go. We got to get to the crazy bit.
It's just so casual and nonchalant. Yes, this is obviously a question that comes up when it comes to deporting the millions of non-whites. That is also a dead giveaway. If somebody uses the phrase non-whites, run. Don't stick your dick in crazy.
Oh my God.
First of all, we absolutely have a right to deport all illegal residents by any means necessary, including...
No, not by any means necessary, you psychotic bitch. Any means necessary means using force. Force means killing.
Usually.
Or
Yeah, it's
harming.
usually
Or harming.
result.
Yeah. Okay.
Something physical.
Okay, I'm gonna let her go.
including threatening them at the point of a gun.
Wow, she really takes a lot of glee in that, apparently.
She said it.
Now, hold on. This might be a point where we can compromise. We might be able to find some common ground because, yes, like most people in this country, I believe in rule of law. And if you are here illegally, sure, we will deport you. When it comes to deporting a lot of the illegal immigrants, it's not exactly the most feasible idea I've ever heard of. But people on this side of the aisle tend to take that further than I like, such as rolling back programs that help children of illegal immigrants and destroying sanctuary cities, which is something they don't even understand the purpose of.
Yeah, that's something I got to comment on.
What?
They completely misunderstand the concept of sanctuary cities. They tend to have this idea that they're just like this rogue area of the country where just anybody gets away with things and they don't follow the law. And it's like, no, mostly what a sanctuary city is, if you're not familiar with it, the greatest benefit of it is if you're in an area and you're not there legally and you're somehow a witness to a crime or an emergency situation or something like that where you need to get involved with the authorities, they will overlook the fact that you were there illegally.
Yeah.
For the sake of, either, resolving whatever crime
it's just legislation.
Yeah, I mean, the whole point.
It's not like there's little towns set up with a bunch of illegals packed in with their backpacks sitting beside the door waiting to run when they hear sirens. I mean, it's not like it's not a safe house to a degree. I'm sure there's safe houses within these sanctuary cities that extend that loophole, I suppose. But
yeah, it's not this thing where it's like
the hysteria again.
We allow people to be here legally. Like that's the angle. No, that's not what it is. It's like if we happen to come across someone that's here illegally through the process of investigating a crime or saving someone's life through EMS services, we're willing to overlook that for the sake of the betterment of the community. That's what it is. It's not some crazy conspiracy where they ignore the rule of law.
Yeah, I don't agree with sanctuary cities anyway. I think it's shit. Be here legally or don't be here.
Well, yeah, I mean, I agree with the concept of, yeah, you should come here legally. But, I mean, sure, why not have more eyes on the street? Hypothetically, let's say someone gets stabbed and the only witness is a illegal immigrant. Mm-hmm. Would you rather dismiss that illegal immigrant as a witness or evidence in court and potentially let the person get away with the stabbing? Or would you be willing to overlook that so they will come to the court and testify on the stand without fearing of deportation? That's the goal.
I
So
don't know.
I think that's a good thing. I don't think it encourages people because there's plenty of other ways that you will get deported if you're there illegally.
Oh yeah, I don't think it encourages anything. I mean,
that's their argument.
They might try to go to areas that have that, but I don't think it encourages them to. Because what if it's an area that has that loophole, but there's no jobs?
Well, yeah, but it's not even. You got to keep in mind too that it's not. What kind of incentive would that be? It's just an advantage to the rest of the city. It doesn't do anything for them.
No.
It doesn't make sense. So, yeah, I don't know. Whatever. They completely misunderstand it, and they paint it as this sort of rogue city.
The Wild West all over again.
It's not what's happening, sorry.
This is a war again.
These are not the right people to be having the immigration discussion.
And killing them if they resist. Okay?
Wow, apparently I paused it too soon. Too soon! Hashtag too soon. I love how she just shrugs that off. Yeah, people are dying, but it happens. After all, you crossed the border. What a fucking travesty. You crossed a border. Tara, I'm pretty sure we will be able to subdue people. The police will be able to subdue one illegal immigrant without needing to kill them. But it is very telling that that's where you jump to.
That is the situation with invaders. If someone has invaded our country illegally entered our country, we have the right to remove them by any means necessary. Okay?
Who else? Who else
Invaders.
says that? Who else says that by any means necessary? Who else does that?
I think
That's a group. That's what is her name? Yvette Fularco?
I don't know. I don't know who that is.
The little Asian Antifa lady, or she's not. She's associated with.
Oh.
She's
The
associated
one
with
that was on
Antifa, but she's a part of the
Yeah.
by any means necessary group.
Yeah, wasn't she the one that was on some kind of talk show or whatever?
Yes.
Riots after?
She was beating
Okay,
that one
yeah.
guy in the stomach in the street
Yeah,
in front of the police and shit like that. She's crazy.
Just for the record, fuck her.
Yeah, fuck her. Fuck.
Respect the law and get the fuck out. That's
Fuck
my
her 5
attitude.
ways from Sunday. She is an evil bitch. Evil bitch.
What
But
did this woman? This woman just said.
but this lady,
It wasn't any means necessary too. It was just, what did she say? Oh, she called them invaders.
yeah, invaders.
Are you
What?
serious?
What? Are they coming in with tanks?
Yeah, I was gonna
Are
say.
they coming in
she's
and
talking-
demolishing towns and
Awesome.
raping women and killing the youngest men, killing the babies,
I mean, I
taking
thought
the
of
women
Star
for
Wars
themselves?
when
I
she
mean,
said
that's an invasion. We see it happening
Look,
in the Middle East. Invasions, they happen all the time. We know what they're about. This isn't an
Yeah.
invasion. This is just illegals getting on your nerves. And lady, you've got an accent. Where the hell are you from? I'm gonna
Yeah, by the
say
way-
England somewhere.
Well, I mean, like she looks somewhat Asian, like far Asian, far West Asian.
I don't know.
Not that it matters.
She looks cunty to me. That's what she looks like.
That's the new thing.
I have
Contest.
absolutely no respect for any woman that pops off with the shit that she does. She's gonna say, we need to go to war, and we need to do this, and we need to do that, and women need to submit to their husbands, and they need to be modest, and just stop with the porn, and it's like, you freaking prude. No.
Yeah, if you want, I mean, I'm sorry we don't have a time machine for you if you want to go live in the 50s, but I mean, at least keep this garbage to yourself.
Boring
It's the same.
Southern.
It's the same attitude I have towards modern feminists when they
Mhm.
try and tell people that
Oh yeah.
they should live a certain way. It's like, okay, well, if you want to live that way, I don't care if it's not affecting me or anyone I care about in a negative way. But when you're telling other people that they should live this way, that's when you're a jackass.
This is a jackass that also says women should not be allowed to vote.
Wow.
Like across the board. Now, I
Way to
have
be
a
yourself.
little bit of a similar thing. I don't think everyone should be allowed to vote unless they pass a certain test, and I know that is like super taboo. But
I've entertained that idea, and I'm not sure where I land on that.
it's
a hard
seeming
concept to
more
discuss.
and more of a better idea to me. I mean, you have to take a test to be able to drive a vehicle. You have to take a test to get into certain professions. You have to,
Right.
and I just mean like know your basic history. Know
Yeah.
your basic branches of the government. Maybe know your senators, your state senators, your governor, even your governor. That's easy. So maybe just things like that.
Yeah, I think, I don't know. I mean, we're at 10 because I've like mulled this over a lot actually, and I just cannot land on like a concept that I'm really comfortable with. The best thing I can think of is because it usually doesn't work out that well when you try and like socially force something.
Yeah, I know.
That doesn't involve really any kind of like action or performance. So the test thing just excludes and marginalizes people that are already unfortunate, so they wouldn't have a way to vote to help get them out of things like that.
Yeah.
So that's kind of why I'm against that.
Well, if
But
if you are interested, if you are interested in voting, I would say, like the way that I am. If you're interested in politics and stuff like that, the way that I am, I would be able to answer basic questions, like who the candidates are that you're voting for, like the major candidates on both sides. At least be able to name that, or I don't know. See, I don't know where you could take this conversation. I don't really agree with the current way that we do things. Maybe there is a better way. Maybe there isn't. I think it's something to talk about though. But this woman just definitely across the board, women should have their rights taken away to vote because all it does is cause trouble. because they always vote Democratic. That's her reasoning. That's her reasoning.
That's okay, whatever.
Because of feminists. Feminists.
I've known people that were so poor that they just couldn't do anything about understanding politics.
Mm-hmm.
So their occupation would, occupy pretty much most of their waking moment. So they don't have time to try and learn about it.
Okay.
It's foreign to them. They're interested, but they tend to lack the time to adequately sort of pick up on what you really should pick up on. But they're curious. They want to know. It's not like they don't care.
Yeah.
So it's like you don't want to exclude those people.
No, definitely not. Definitely not. And I see what you're saying.
Especially because usually the reasons that they can't like understand or form an opinion very well are out of their control. It's not like they're being lazy or something like that. Now there are those people that are, but it has nothing to do with what I'm talking about. But
we could go deep on this conversation. We'll have to save this for another night.
Let's save this for another time.
Because I could seriously. Oh, this might be where we disagree.
Oh no.
We might fight. All right, the next stream's going to be a boxing round. It's a boxing match. People bring popcorn, bring your own beer. All right, I'm going to let this cunty cake talk.
Okay.
Gross.
Invaders. Like, can you imagine what a grandiose world these people live in?
Reese has the same problems that we do.
I know. It's like,
all right, I'll let him go. I just had to.
Am I the only one that pictures like the Death Star and Darth Vader? Just like invaders.
Yeah. Look at that. Look at those eyes. Fictional. Look at those eyes.
It sounds fictional. It doesn't even sound real.
No.
Crossing the border like some declaration of war. You are my enemy now, and I will deport you by any means necessary, including a bullet to the brain. You people are psychopaths. You people need to be on a list.
And now there are different situations. Now we have, then there are people who have resident visas. Okay, so we have a resident visa, but they are not a citizen. So they are legally resident in the country, but they are not a citizen. What we can do is we can revoke their visas and then ask them to leave. And if they do not leave, they are now legally resident in the country and we can remove them by any means necessary.
Okay, so why bother with the charade? What is this like murky?
Why tippy-toe around it?
There's like, here's a method that we could use to just get to something horribly unethical.
We will give them their options, and if they don't choose that option, oh well, they're choosing death. It's like, what the fuck, you crazy bitch? Do not procreate, please.
Well, why even pretend to give the option?
Yeah.
If you're willing to be that extreme, why not just go straight to that?
Just do it.
Why the facade?
We need a window bomb for this. We need a window bomb for this. Killer Wendell. Spit her on fire. There she goes. She's burnt. It didn't work. Wendell, gotta try harder.
God damn it, Sleepy's.
Damn it, Wendell. All right, let's let her keep going.
Smack it.
Well, that includes some of my friends. So you can't even have a temporary visa to America. If you are a non-white, we will revoke that. Get the fuck out. And then we'll treat you like an illegal immigrant. We will bend the legal system in such a way that now, actually, it's kind of like you're here illegally. I know that you went through the paperwork, you went through the legal jargon and the process, and you are here with permission, but fuck that. You're non-white. Let's just...
Yeah, exactly. Why go through it? I mean, if you're this psychopathic and set on this, just don't try and hide it. Just go straight to it if that's your mentality.
That's all I want from these people. I just want a little bit of honesty. It's like, I hear what you're saying, and I also hear what you're not saying. So just own up to it. You may think I'm ignorant, but I'm not. I see through the veil of bullshit. I can't help it. It's like a fucking curse. It really is. I wish I could turn it off. Every once in a while, I wish I could be naive to think, there's not racists anymore. I really wish I could think that. You people keep proving me wrong. Stop it. Just stop.
Okay, the reason that they do these sort of like middleman
I need a
fake
I need a
reasons,
cookie now.
like
I need to
revoke visas and shit like that.
Yeah, I need to comfort eat some sugar now, so I have to eat a cookie now.
The reason they do this is because they know it's unacceptable. That's why they don't just come out and say it. It's the same thing with racists. Racists know that racism isn't okay. That's why they don't publicly say things that are racist usually. Like, you don't see people that are like just straight racist. Like, I'm not talking about people that have made occasionally offensive comments. I'm talking about like straight up racist. Like
Proven. It takes a few times. It takes a few times to prove your racism. So if somebody's going to racist, then you've proven it.
Well, like, okay, so I've known a few people that are racist,
Mm-hmm.
and it's not like they're shy about it when they're around other racists.
Dude,
that's when they're just like,
I was
wide
raised
open.
in the South. I know quite a few.
Right. Okay, so they do that, right?
But they're not dangerous.
Well, that too. But when they're not around other racists, they don't act like that. They don't talk like that.
Mm-mm.
Why?
They know it's unacceptable.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the same thing with these people.
But Ricky, why is it unacceptable? Why is it unacceptable?
Ethically?
No,
legally?
I'm asking you as another human being. Why is racism unacceptable?
Because it doesn't make any sense. Like, why doesn't
it make sense? There's numbers that go along with the things that show that it's natural. So why is it wrong? There's proof that says it's natural. Even animals do it.
All it is we're stuck with these brains that pick out patterns.
No, you're not explaining it to me the way I want you to. You've got to put emotion behind it, or I'm not going to believe you. Do you hear my voice? Do you hear the emotion in my voice? I need you to answer me the way that I'm speaking to you, or I'm not going to believe you, no matter what you present me with as evidence.
You forgot the pregnant pauses. I think that's why I didn't bite.
White genocide. It's happening. It's an invasion. They're gonna kill us all. And,
it's like a video game.
And
what the hell?
And the babies are not being born. God damn it, Ricky!
Or will somebody think of the white children?
Will somebody think of the children?
Ridiculous.
You sound like women. You sound like hysterical women. That is why it is so easy to make fun of you.
Fuck these people. All right.
All right, let's let the crazy bitch continue to rant.
Let's just revoke that shit. It really makes me wonder why this is such a concern for them. Why do you want a white ethno state? Why do you want to kick
Because colored people scary, master.
Out people who aren't white? What exactly is the end game here? It bears repeating that this is a host of a podcast that Lauren Southern gladly appeared on. These are the people.
Okay, I just want to make something known. I'm not one of those people who is going to judge Lauren Southern because she talked to these two women, because these women are alt-righters. They just kind of mask their blatant racism very, very well. They made this video after Lauren did the interview with them. So to her, to her benefit, this shit show presented itself after her appearance. So
yeah,
it is.
That
so it
kind
is.
of brings up a thing too,
But
like a quandary. So
I also talk to people who have like legit racist views, and they're completely openly racist. But I still talk to them because I want to understand their brains. And I want to hear the other things that they have to say while being racist to see if that changes anything. So
sure. So yeah, like what do? You don't want to ignore these people. If you have the platform to where you can interact with someone like this, you should. Now, don't be a pussy like Dave Rubin and not try and counter them in any way. At least talk with them if you're not going to counter them.
Okay, there's a perfect example that's going on right now. Roaming millennial. She just did that interview with Richard Spencer.
Okay,
now,
let's see it.
I haven't seen it either. I mean, I've seen some clips and some reviews and stuff of it a little bit while I've been doing stuff today. But Twitter is attacking her, basically saying, how dare you do an interview with him and not push him and not not like confront him on white nationalism and ethno-state and all this kind of stuff. And it's like, whoa, did you talk to her before she did her interview? Because if not, I don't think you were privy to how she wanted to conduct her interview with her guest on her channel. So maybe back off a little bit and try to follow the conversation that is happening and try to understand if she's just allowing him to speak what he actually thinks. So then maybe at a later date, she can be like, okay, he just gave a speech like this. And whenever I talk to him, this is how he represented his opinions. So it's going to give a lot of people context and clarity where there may not have been any before. So let her talk to him. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Go do it, girl, for sure, because he's a really hot topic right now, and everybody is wanting clarity on exactly what he stands for because he's becoming bigger and bigger. She shouldn't be punished for that. You people on Twitter are assholes for punishing poor Roman millennial like that for being a good journalist, in my opinion.
Yeah, okay, so there's a couple things I look at when it comes to this. So, okay, so there's an issue of sort of this association going on. So it's like, yeah, do I want to be associated with these people?
Mm-hmm.
But that seems to be what some people are objecting to, but I don't think that makes any sense. You're not showing up on these shows and being like, hey, let's hold hands.
Yeah, right.
Like, no.
You want to go get matching tattoos?
Right. Jesus Christ. But so the other thing is, ignoring these people is the worst response you could have.
Oh God, yeah.
You let them form mobs and increase their fervor. That's exactly the opposite of what you should do. If you have the platform to interact with these people, fucking do it.
Yeah.
And don't just give them a platform. Challenge them. And I don't mean in like a combative way that won't be productive and
push them on their ideas. I mean, it's not hard, and you don't have to be an asshole to do it. It's very easy to keep a conversation going or to direct a conversation. You just have to make sure that you stay calm, you stay on track with the conversation, and I mean, you just keep it moving. It's kind of like what you and I have been doing for the past 2 hours now. I mean, we talk about something, kind of go into it as far as we want to, and then we change subject or go in a different direction. But
and that's exactly the issue I take with Ruben. It drives me nuts because he's got this platform, he's got the personality to stay civil and stable with people and just converse with them, and then he doesn't use it to sort of counter them at all. It's frustrating because the dude's got it. He's got the thing. He's got the setup. It's perfect. He's got the platform. He's got the sort of personality traits. He just doesn't go there.
Yeah, he definitely could push it a little bit harder. I mean, I haven't been watching Ruben lately just because it's gotten so boring. It's like I'm sitting there listening to a right winger just sit there and yak. I'm like, okay, when are you going to pop off, Ruben? When is it coming? He's like, what? Nothing. Yeah. You're just going to sit there and nod your head? What the hell, man?
Yeah, exactly. So
I'm bored. I'm bored.
He's got the setup. Fucking hell! If by some crazy chance, Dave, if you're listening to this, please, for the love of God, step it up because you got it made. Yeah. Everything else is perfect.
He just did an interview with Ayaan Hirsi Ali, and he released it in like 3 parts so far, and I think he just released the full version. So I was waiting on that to come out, and I'm definitely going to watch that. I love anytime she's in any interview, she is just fantastic to watch. Okay, let's finish this evil bit real quick.
Well, I wanted to say just one last thing. Mm-hmm. That's why you need to confront these people. But when you do, if you get the chance to talk to someone like this, either individually or on a platform, and you want to challenge them, and you sincerely want to try and change their mind and make some more sense of something, don't come at them, not just aggressively, but don't come at them with the sort of an attitude of like, I'm gonna show you, or maybe even like not that aggressive, but just like the best way you can influence people is through the Socratic method, which is simply asking them questions to see if you can get them to come to conclusions on their own.
Exactly. And it's
'Cause you're
not a
making
sneak attack.
By the way, that's okay. I just remembered what I wanted to say earlier.
Okay.
So when it comes to sort of learning good practices for thinking critically and analyzing things, one of the best things you can do is take your intellectual toolkit of like looking for fallacies, analyzing arguments. Once you've made a decision on some kind of option on whatever the topic it is, turn that toolkit on yourself.
Every time.
Yeah. And
Every time.
not only that, so here's a very specific good practice. Whenever you're trying to make up your mind about something and then you feel like you've settled on an option or a position,
Start trying to prove yourself wrong.
well, yeah, that exactly. But there's a specific way that you should do it. This is extremely effective, and there's actually science to back this up. So when you find yourself, settling on something, like let's pick a major topic. Say you're not convinced by the entire United States intelligence community and the international intelligence community that there's some serious fuckery going on with Donald Trump and his administration. Let's say that's not convincing to you. Now, one thing you can do, and this is for anything, I'm just using this as an example. So pick a statement, say something to yourself like, whatever, I don't agree, or I don't accept or believe that the intelligence community is correct. And now write that down on a piece of paper. It's important. You have to write it down.
Yeah.
Thinking it or just saying it doesn't work. Write that down. And then after that, write down underneath of it 5 paragraphs, like separate points, 5 reasons that could be other explanations for what you're seeing that could counter what you're saying. So like with the intelligence community thing in Trump, something you could write would be like, this would require a really high level of conspiracy. Like there's hundreds of thousands of people that would have to be in lockstep to make this up. Something like that. Pick 5. It's got to be 5.
Yeah.
And it has to be written down. And just do 1 paragraph for each one. And something about that in people's brains will kind of smack things back into the center of trying to make sense of something. It's a really good practice. It's hard. It's hard to try and do that, to counter yourself like that. But do it. I mean, that's a really good exercise to sort of sharpening your thinking skills and keeping your skeptical compass pointed where it should be. That's what I wanted to say.
There you go. Well, I'm glad you remembered in the same stream. All right, go ahead.
Let's
go ahead
finish
and
this off.
Yeah, go ahead and play that.
All right.
Who Lauren Southern is publicly interacting with, giving notoriety, giving subscribers to. And it's not like the other girl who runs this show is any better.
And now you move on to people who are citizens, who have either been naturalized after spending about 5 years in the country, who are anchor babies whose parents came into the country illegally, had them in the hospital in the US, and then they became US citizens by default. And people who were born in the country of legally resident or legal citizens in the US, for example. So I believe that we should revoke the anchor baby citizen status because it was acquired through unlawful means.
Wait, what? No, it's not. See, the law says that if you are born in this country, you're a citizen. What exactly is unlawful about that? Now, I understand. A lot of people take advantage of that. There may be a bit of a loophole present that the original signers of that law were not anticipating. But the anchor baby citizenship is not breaking the law. It's not an unlawful thing. What the fuck are you even talking about?
And thus, that's an ill-gotten gain. And thus they are illegal, so we should deport them. As for people who are naturalized citizens, it may be possible to revoke the naturalized citizenship in some cases.
Oh my god, that's amazing. So I believe she's correct in citing that if you spend at least 5 years here, yes, you will become a citizen. There could be people who are in this country for decades They just happen to have not been born in this country. And they're going to get kicked out because they're non-white? I mean, just analyze the absurdity of your policy. This plan you have. This will fail.
As for people who are citizens, who were born of citizens in the United States, I believe we need to incentivize them financially to move out of the United States.
And that's where it ends. And we are not going to get to hear how exactly that's going to be accomplished. But the bottom line is we want them to leave because we are creating the white ethno-state. This also did not account for all of the non-white people who happened to be in this country. By the way, that includes a lot of native people who are not white, who are always in this country. And if you exclude them and you go back far enough, everybody in this country is the descendant of immigrants. That's what really gets me about these ethno-state types. They're not like the Ghazi types who advocate for going back to Africa. You would expect the other side of the coin to be advocating for a return to Europe. No. They've claimed America as a white country because white immigrants happen to take it over. I will definitely be taking a look at the Virtue of the West podcast. And if anybody has any clip suggestions from that show, I would gladly receive them. Give me a timestamp, give me an episode, and I will take a look. And Reese out.
It's funny, I should do a sugar skull for Reese, because I'm a makeup artist, so I do those, and I love doing them.
Oh, awesome.
I have a really good picture of one that I did in all Swarovski crystals, like glued to the face.
Nice.
It was so much fun. It took me just over 5 hours to do it. Oh, God.
Do it. Reese is worth it.
I don't know. We'll see. Oh, God. It's definitely a lot of fun. But yeah, she's an awful bitch, isn't she?
Well, here's what cracks me up, too, is, like, I've seen a lot of these people, they're doing this in, like, the name of America, right? Mm-hmm. They're promoting it as the true America. It's like, how do you not understand that this is probably the most anti-American thing you can do?
Yeah.
The entire point of this country, in case you haven't noticed,
is anyone can come here.
Is to be an epicenter of any like cultural activity and people.
Yep.
That's the point.
That's the part they're not liking. It's getting a little bit too less white than they like.
Right.
And that's sad. It's so sad. It's like, okay, so your identity is based on what you look like. That is literally identity politics.
That's really bizarre. I get the idea. I get the general concept of sort of noticing patterns in the world and then being attracted to things that are similar to you. But you have to use your higher order thinking to take it to that level. Like, you have to actively look at that, something like appearance, and be like, yeah, that's a really good like justification or reason to mob up with these people. That is absurd. Makes no sense. Even like politically, this is something I was talking about with a few people on Twitter today. People need to get to a point where they don't act. Their reaction to something negative in politics is not to just form teams and look at this.
You mean tribes? You mean tribes?
Yeah. What's the difference?
Well, they'll call. But they'll come to me and you and say, "You two are tribalistic because you're an echo chamber, or you're agreeing." It's like, all right, so you have people around you that agree. What the fuck does that make you? So are we going to stop calling each other names now and put labels on me?
Well, yeah, that's
and then we can talk.
Like if you want to, this phrase has been kind of poisoned by some people on the internet that are just cancerous, but that's how you dismiss people, is you otherize them.
Yep.
You turn them into something foreign.
Just like that freaking veganator fucker was doing.
Exactly.
No wonder he's so popular with the right, or with the alt-right.
You turn an outgroup into something foreign, which is inherently kind of.
It's easy to disassociate yourself from something that you don't see that is like you.
Right. So you make them into this threat.
Hello, racism.
You take advantage of these sort of residual xenophobia that people have to like preserve their safety by doing that. You paint them as a separate thing that's a threat to you, and then you mob up. That's what they do. That's how you do it. And it's transparent as fuck. Stop that shit. Like if there's something
dangerous
politics,
ideas, my friend. Dangerous. Being someone who doesn't give a shit about race and skin color, that is dangerous.
like
We walk a fine line.
it just aggravates me to no end when I see this in politics.
I've been
Like,
simultaneously called anti-white and anti-black in this same exact day. I was like, "What?"
I think my tweet today was about this was something like, "Hold up, let me be America real quick." Problem X presents itself, and then the reaction is,
America.
political party that isn't mine is the worst. And then the problem persists.
They are the problem. Must annihilate.
Jesus Christ!
It's like,
Can you
no.
please just step back?
It's like there is a balance.
First. Yeah,
This
I'm a
Side A
liberal.
is fucked because of this. Side B is fucked because of that. Let's just meld them a little.
Like, why on earth do you feel the need to just like defend people you don't even know? That it just doesn't make any sense. Like, I'm a liberal through and through. If there was some kind of liberal, Democrat, Independent, whatever, in our government, in the United States, that was corrupt or did something wrong, unethically in some way, like let's say that the department,
I would
or, excuse me,
disavow. I
the,
would disavow immediately. Completely disavow.
Absolutely. Yeah, there's an entire arm of the FBI that is dedicated to just doing nothing but looking for corruption in Congress. And they make arrests on a pretty regular basis. There's no fucking around. That's the attitude people should have. Don't do this like, well, he's not on my side thing, or she's over here. It's like, no, your attitude should be, is my government functioning like it should be? That's the bottom line.
Yeah.
This tribalism crap is why we have problems. You're contributing to the problem if you do this.
We're not helping.
You're the opposite of helping. You're doing exactly what makes it worse.
Do I need to turn on a Barney video?
Go for it.
I love you. You love me. We're a happy family. Was it great? Big hug.
Even that's that's a different
They
form
don't
of the
even
same
like
shit.
that. They don't even like that. They're like, no, you don't love
Well,
everybody. It's like, I definitely don't love you. I definitely don't love you.
That's my point. Even it's a different form of the same thing. It's just in a positive way instead of a negative way.
Yeah.
It's the same shit.
Yeah, that's an
Damn it.
extreme liberal right there. That'd be like, everybody loves everybody. And they go,
Right.
Islam is not a problem, as their homosexual friend is tossed off the top of a building. It's like, no, you need to get off the weed for a minute.
Oh my god.
You're missing
Anyway.
you're missing a very important thing.
For fuck's sake, people, please stop doing that.
Are you getting stressed out? No. Take a deep breath. Take a drink of your water. Did you put
drives me
vodka?
nuts.
Did you put vodka in your water?
I did not. I've had my share of Fireball. I'm good.
Oh yeah, that's right. You did the fireball thing. Okay. Yeah.
You'll love this combination.
You had to
Fireball,
drink before we got
Starbucks,
started.
Yeah.
You poor thing.
Here's my liver cocktail right now is Fireball, Starbucks, double shot, and water.
Oh
To
god.
smooth it out.
My lighter is out of fluid. This is bad. See, you people make me smoke.
Intermission.
Here. We'll do some intermission. If anybody has any suggestions for music to play, send them my way. I'm completely open to suggestions about stuff to play before we get started. I just hate it whenever people start their streams and they're like, are we live? Are we live? Are we live? You play a little bit of music and then you don't have to do all that. Are we live? Are we live? Shit. Everybody does that though. It's like, are we live? I don't know if we're live. Yep, there we go. Hi everybody. It's like, no, just play some
Look at your screen. Fuck.
Well,
Yes, you're live.
There's that stupid delay. Let's see. So what have you got planned for this coming weekend? Hey, do you know what today is? It's my birthday. I'm 30.
Yeah.
I'm 35.
Yay, happy birthday. I just noticed that on your thing, your Twitter thing or whatever.
I have it. Yeah, I have that on May. Yeah, I think it's on May 1st, but it's May 12th.
Yeah, I think
So
he-
technically in
I think
England
he-
right now, it's May
somewhere.
12th. It's my birthday. Oh yeah.
Happy birthday.
I'll have to get some cake.
Uh-huh.
I'll probably just
Some
get. I'll
vodka
probably just
cake.
get chocolate instead.
Ooh. Damn
Happy
it, you're
birthday
making
to me. I'm trying to find some music. Probably need to wrap
And
this
next-
thing up soon, but
Yeah, I'm good for
I am
whatever.
caffeined up. So okay, what's going on, chat? Can you see
Yeah, let's
Can
check
you
it.
see the chat?
I'm pulling up right now. I have
Okay.
to keep like closing it on and off. So let's.
Yeah.
So
Just make sure you mute yourself and be fine.
yeah.
So it's definitely been an interesting week. Just going through. I've been reading a little bit of that book that you suggested. I think we weren't live the other day when we were talking about like the ethics and philosophy and stuff when it comes to animals.
Oh no, yeah, that was just.
And you
and I
recommended
were
it,
talking.
yeah, Peter Singer, Animal Liberation, and so far so good. I'm enjoying it. See,
Yeah,
people,
that's a
I'm even
classic.
taking book recommendations.
Hey, yeah. Speaking of, where's that?
I did
Where's
it.
that
I already did
description?
it. Don't you even start. I already did it. I did it before I even got. I sent you the message and said, "Let's get ready to go." I did it.
Awesome.
Ha 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 ha.
Yeah. Anyone that has an interest in the ethics of like how we treat animals, anything ranging from our diets to our clothing or to just the process in which we get our food, things like that. If that interests you, Peter Singer, who is a philosopher, wrote a book that Kari's talking about called Animal Liberation, and that became a classic, not just within philosophy circles, but
It's very easy to
outside.
read. It's a very easy to read as well. It's
Exactly.
not.
Yeah,
It's
it's
not
perfect.
stuffy. It's not overly scientific, like with heavy terminology. There's a few words in there that maybe, if you're not familiar with animal husbandry, it could possibly hang you up. But if you have basic reading comprehension skills, I mean, it's a pretty easy read.
Yeah, it's geared towards the public.
Mhm.
So it's like you don't have to have like a philosophy education to understand this book. And some of his other stuff is pretty good too. So like if you're interested in understanding like poverty and the ethics behind like solving poverty or things we can do, he has a really good book. It's probably one of my favorites. And again, it's geared towards the public. It's called The Life You Can Save. I would highly recommend that.
The Life You Can Save. Okay. Yeah, I like his writing style.
Yeah, I believe he's those chats or whatever that what the hell's his name? Lawrence Krauss does.
Mm-hmm.
I believe he's had him on. Like you can find it on YouTube if you want to see what this dude's like, what he's about.
Okay.
In fact, I'm gonna pull it up and then I'll send you the link.
Okay, that sounds good.
You can throw it in for people.
Going to pop on some music real quick.
All right. My Cherry MX Blues in the background, smacking the microphone.
Oh, it's okay. No big deal. You can hear my laptop going click, 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 click every time I select something. It's loud, but I think it has like a desktop microphone on it. I believe that's just being picked up. That I haven't figured out how to get off of just yet.
This is a mechanical keyboard with custom switches
Yeah,
in it.
you told us about it last time.
Okay, here it is. I found it. Apparently, it's been divided up into two parts. It's on the ASU Origins website, but I'll send the link to the first one, and then I'm sure that thing will have the link to the second one. So this is a really good talk, in my opinion. I'll send it to you in DM. There you go.
Okay, I'll get it. That took longer than what I thought it was going to.
By the way, I've kind of ripped on Lawrence Krauss a little bit for being a dick about philosophy.
Yeah.
But just as a side note, he's kind of lightened up. So I want to give him credit for that. And it's kind of obvious in this conversation. He's sort of toned it down and been like, okay, I can see the value in this. He used to be really aggressive against it.
Okay.
I just wanted to be fair to him.
Okay. I'll get that other one. You can talk over it if you want to. I don't have it turned all the way up. wanted to play it for a second.
Oh, I see. Okay.
I need a gangster to love me better than all the others do. To always forgive me, ride or die with me. That's just what gangsters do.
Let me down, let me down, let me down, let me down. I love this song.
God, I love this song.
This is a good remix.
Yeah.
I don't mind talking over it. Always forgive me. My neighbor's not gonna appreciate me. It's 5:30 in the morning here. Well, that worked out well. We needed a break for a moment. Good stuff. We'll eventually get the rhythm down, I think.
Yeah, I think it's improving.
Yeah. It would probably be a better idea to like probably keep it to 2 hours. But the way that I think I might deal with that is like just now, whenever I started playing the music, that would be like a good spot for me to cut this, and it could be its own podcast as well. So that's a possibility, just depending on what we talk about now.
Yeah.
So we could do it that way, or do 2 separate days. I mean, because I know your schedule is a lot more busier than mine is, because the visa I'm on in the UK is just a visitor's visa. So I do all the normal stuff. I can't work or do anything that a citizen can do. It's very limited, so I have a lot of time.
Watch out for that ethno state.
Right?
They're gonna revoke your visa.
I know. White person. Well, a white-looking person coming in. Watch out! I'm gonna come take over.
What are you aside from Syrian? I forget.
My father's side, the maternal side on my father's side, is oh my God, Menorcan, which is that was the Spanish slaves that were brought over into Florida by the Spanish whenever they came over. I forget what year, but the Menorcan people were they were the slave people of the Spaniards who came over, the conquistadors, and that's where St. Augustine and what's the Bridge of Lions, Fort Clinch is down there. It's a Spanish fort, and Ponce de Leon, Ponce de Leon. That's also another Spanish conquistador. And, I mean, it's just whenever that area was starting to develop. If you ever go to Florida, I suggest going and visiting St. Augustine. It's the oldest city in the United States.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Because the Spanish, they colonized
it. Not Philadelphia?
No. It's the oldest Spanish colony.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Where the Spanish colonized, not like in total.
Right.
It's the oldest city in the country when it comes to like Spanish forts and where the Spanish set up settlements and stuff like that.
Oh, okay.
Excuse me for not clarifying, but
no, it's cool.
That the Menorcan people, they were the slaves of the Spanish that came over, and they fought for their freedom, worked for their freedom and stuff, and they were loose. And then on my father's paternal side is Syrian.
Okay.
And then my mother's side is, let me see, Polish, I believe. Polish and Belgium, something like that. Just something super white. So I'm guessing that's where the red hair and the fair skin and freckles and green eyes and stuff come into play. But what's funny is the rest of my family is very darkly colored.
Huh.
So I'm like,
so you got some of the recessive traits.
Yeah. Leave it to me, be the weirdo.
No, you look cool.
But yeah, all of my cousins, except for 2, are fair, or they're all dark-haired, dark-eyed, tan very easily. Me, I just look at the sun and get blisters. So it's not even a joke. That's why it's easy for me to live in England. I don't have to buy sunscreen because I don't need it.
I'm jealous.
I'm like super white. Like you can really, really, really tell that I'm a redhead. Like I'm a legit ginger when I'm here for a couple months, because every bit of my color that I get when I'm in Florida just goes away. So it's like super fair skin and then just like freckles. So it's like, yeah, maybe that's why I blend in here so well until I open my mouth, of course. But I think my family, because the BRCA gene is is really heavily present on my great grandmother's side, on my my paternal grandfather's side. So his mother, the BRCA gene is the gene. Yeah. It's the gene that some women have. That it's a marker that tells you that you're more likely to get breast cancer or ovarian cancer. That's why Angelina Jolie had the double mastectomy and a hysterectomy. Is because she had the BRCA gene.
Oh, I didn't know anything about that.
Yeah, well, she did that like 2 years ago, I think, because her mother died from, I think, ovarian cancer. So anyway, there's a test. There's a test that you can go and get, and if the BRCA gene is present, then it gives you a much higher chance of developing cancers that are more present in women, like breast or ovarian or cervical, stuff like that. So, so it popped up in my family, and that kind of initiated everybody to get their blood tests and stuff done, which initiated everybody to do a genealogy, and mine came back, and it was pretty astounding, and nothing what I thought it was going to be. Like I have zero Jewish in me, like zero, none.
How did you like? Did you go to a company to have that figured out, or
We
how did that
did
work?
it through a. Oh man, I'll have to look. It was through a company. Like we did the test, the swab, and then mailed it in. But we all used the same thing, and there's between 80 and 100 people that participated, so it's a pretty.
Because I know there's some like fairly popular websites. Well, not websites, but companies with websites that will, like, you send them, you swab your DNA or whatever, and then they show you your complete lineage. And I always thought that was cool, but I just didn't know. I mean, like, I know that some other people have promoted it that are legit. Like, I think Sam Harris has even talked about one of them. I forget what it's called. Oh, it's 23andMe, I think is what it's called.
Mm-hmm.
Something like that. Anyway, I've always been curious about that because, like, from what I know of my family, so, like, when I was younger, and this was in probably, let me think, early 90s, something like that. So it was like pre-internet, publicly. So my mom was super into genealogy, just like an interest of hers. And she actually went physically, like drove to different like libraries and courthouses and like just pieced together all these records and created this like binder that's about as thick as a phone book for me, and she did one for my sister too. And it was her complete, like, everything she could find, pre-internet, from just scrounging around about our family history, and then like track down pictures, and it was really cool. And then she gave them to us for Christmas gifts one year, and I still have it, and it's really awesome. Some of the pictures in there are just so cool.
Yeah,
like
my cousin, he did something similar, like to track down some family members from like a few generations back, and he came across some pictures and stuff, and new family members and all kinds of stuff. So it's really interesting. See, that kind of stuff interests me more than talking about race.
Yeah,
that is entirely more entertaining and to me.
What would you think of? So, are we recording right now?
Yeah, it's still live.
Okay.
If you want to wrap this up, I'm totally fine with it, and we could talk talk about a few other things. I didn't realize how long we'd actually been on it. It's like close to 6 o'clock now. Whew. I wasn't paying attention.
I don't even look at the time. I just talk and enjoy it.
Okay, well, give me just a second. All right, thank you everybody for coming and hanging out. We're gonna go ahead and stop it. We may be back on Sunday. Don't know yet. We'll see. But I think tonight was fun. I appreciate everybody hanging out. All right, one more Wendell bomb, and we'll head out of here. There you go, Wendell. All right, good night, everybody.
Yeah, thanks. Good night.